Tyler, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Tyler? Tyler, can you hear us? Tyler, can you hear us? And the people on Teams, please check their microphones, make sure everything's working.
Test, 1, 2.
The people on Teams.
Hello.
Mr. Levitt,
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay. We can hear you great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Farrar?
Absolutely.
I'll let council know. Mr. Farrar is online.
Incredible.
He's not tested yet, so he's here.
Right, he did tell me today that if we couldn't hear him, he
Mhm.
would call on my phone.
Okay. He's got his microphone muted as of right now.
I haven't heard anything about that. No, they usually send texts. Does anybody? No, there is no text. I would like to call the July 21st, 2026 City Council meeting to order, please. Mr. Burris, would you mind introducing?
I would love to. Thank you. Pastor Tim Estes is here tonight. What an amazing first name. And he will be leading our invocation this evening. Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate it.
Privilege. Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come with humility and gratefulness for all the many blessings that we enjoy. Help us to never take for granted a single day that we get to live in the freedoms of this great nation. Tonight, I thank you for this board. I pray your blessings upon them as they lead this city. Lord, help them to listen with understanding, to speak with integrity, and to act in compassion. Thank you for the business leaders of our city, the first responders, all who serve in any capacity, God, the residents of this town. It's a blessed place, and it's because of the great decisions made here. Continue to lead and guide. Keep your hand upon us. We might reflect your goodness to our fellow man. And Lord, we just pray for your continued help across our nation during this time of conflict and unrest, that even in opposition, there would be respect to one another. We need that spirit in our land. And we pray for that humbly. We ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. Now I will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mike?
Here.
Daniel?
Daniel is on his way. He'll be here in about 2 minutes.
Okay. Mick?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Larry?
Here.
Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm seeking approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I would like to amend the agenda pursuant to an email that our city attorney sent us regarding the filling of vacancy of Ms. Piazza's position. No need to recite the law. He's already recited, but I would suggest that we add that as the first item under new business.
So noted.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Mike?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Mick?
Yes.
That's it. Motion passes.
All right, we'll move on. Was there anything, anyone else wanted to change anything?
No,
Mr.
that was a vote just to add this to the agenda, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Yes, inserted at the, immediately under new business before item A.
Okay.
Also, I know that Mr. Latham said that Mr. Washkowiak was going to table something or request to table something until the next meeting as letter C, since he had surgery today and is not here.
Well, when we get to that item, yeah, that may be the step that would I take. But
Instead
I
of just
do
taking it
have-
off right now, just waiting.
Please, because I do have things that I do want to put into the record about that.
Absolutely.
So-
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, I'm seeking a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, this is to approve the agenda change. Roll
No,
call.
Approve the agenda. now.
Approve the agenda.
Approve
We've
the
already done
agenda
the change.
with the
yes.
change.
Agenda as amended.
Yes. Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes,
Daniel.
Abstain.
Okay, I'm seeking
Passes.
approval of the June 16th, 2026 City Council minutes.
I will make a motion. Oh, go ahead. No, Mike's going to do it, and I'm going to second it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Mike's making the motion and Mr. Burris is seconding it. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
yes,
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
We'll go on to our financial reports. Ms. Artemani?
Okay, this is for June 2026. General fund income was $387,461.80. Expenses was $544,815.94. Left a negative operating income of $157,354.14. Water and sewer income $620,459.71. Expenses $685,609.79. Left a negative operating income of $65,150.08. Streets income was $100,049.29. Expenses $56,609.97. Left a positive operating income of $43,439.32. And some of those big expenditures was for fire, for some bunker gear, some EMS training. We had Parks at Holiday Decor they ordered. They did a final payment on some police units, engineering fees, and water tank approved shortage, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have a question regarding financials, if I can address the recorder, please.
Yes, you may.
Madam Recorder, reviewing the credit card statements, it looks like there's several meals and lodging bills. I believe there's somewhere, maybe it's a federal statute, but there is a per diem allowance. I know the police chief has said that they monitor that in reference, as I forgot, but I would ask to be provided with that per diem. And I also note, according to, I think, the accounting standards, the details of the booking of these expenses should cover the particular individuals. I'm not sure that all of that has been done properly. Looking again at several meals with no names associated with it.
Okay.
Consequently, I would ask going forward that your assistant more properly and more detail do that and provide us that per diem allowance, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, anything else? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to museum.
The Tontitown Historical Museum Board of Directors met at City Hall on July 6th. We just have a few things going on at the museum. We've got a couple new exhibits that we're opening up. One will be inside City Hall, celebrating, we're we are about to be celebrating our 40th anniversary in August. So that exhibit is going to kind of detail some of the last 40 years of the museum's work. And we also have moved all the crowns into the museum in anticipation of the Grape Festival, which we are currently prepping for. We are on hold on our digitization project while our new staff member just gets familiar with the history of Tontitown. She's doing great, so it's been really great having Randy Lewis with us. We had 28 visitors this last month, and we were so honored to be part of Shiloh Museum's America 250 block party. They just emailed us today. We saw over 1,500 people at that event. I spoke to a large crowd about Tontitown's history, and we just got to meet with a lot of great community members. And this last 2 weeks, I have been helping Washington County Historical Society with their summer camp, teaching bocce, polenta making, and Tontitown history to students. And attached to this report are some of our photos from our past summer camp in June. Just wanted to share what all the kids got to do and just how excited they were. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, please. State
right,
your name and address. No, I'm kidding.
All right, the month of June, we had 867 calls for service, worked 18 accident reports, served 71 warrants. We still have 1,438 outstanding warrants. Warrant amounts $1,726,583.88. Our training hours were 1,613 year to date. Total citations last month was 145. Speeding citations were 19. Other traffic citations 87. 14 criminal citations, 25 improper driving city ordinance citations. 425 warnings, total warnings, 88 speeding warnings, and 337 other traffic warnings. That is it for month. Any questions?
Any questions?
All right.
Seeing none,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
Next, we'll move on to fire. Hello,
Hello.
sir. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
For the month of June, total calls of 58, 26 of those were EMS, 2 fire calls, 7 vehicle collisions, 1 false alarm, 7 service calls, 15 general alarms, and no canceled en route. We were at 286 calls as of June, which puts us 10 behind last year at this time, 296. It's a decrease for over 2025. Average response time out of the chute is 1 minute and 17 seconds, and on scene is 4 minutes and 31 seconds average response time.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Next, we'll move on to Public Works and Engineering. Mr. Clark, you get to stand there a while tonight.
All right, the July Public Works Report, first item on the list is the million-gallon storage tank. That project is wrapping up. As a matter of fact, our SCADA people were there today getting it hooked up to our SCADA system, so we can now see the tank level. They've got to finish the grading, paving, and fencing for that project to be complete, hopefully by the end of August. We'll see if they make that. Wastewater master plan, we're still gathering information. If you remember, CK Civil or KJ Civil is doing that project for us, so we're providing them information as necessary to move forward with that. Chamber Springs water system, the project bids were open. They're hoping to get started. I feel like I told you this last month. Anyway, they're hoping to get started very soon and have that project completed by the end of the year. Wildcat Creek Harmon Road waterline extension received the survey yesterday, so now the designing of that project can start. And one other item that I hadn't got on my list yet is the North Barrington Sewer Extension. And this is to extend a sewer line from Spinoto behind the winery and then across Barrington and then south to the property line between the post office and the church. That will eventually allow the church to be connected to sewer. They are still on a septic system. That project and the one that we're working on with Zach, the Wildcat Creek Waterline Extension, I'm going to submit both of those to the state for some grant money, hopefully. They don't have a lot to give out, but the state did approve a $20 million to go to grants for water and sewer. We will submit those. And there's been a little bit of confusion about whether those are going to be 50-50 grants or whether they're going to be 80-20, but 50% would be better than no percent. So we'll take what we can get from them. Hopefully we'll know about that by September, October.
And may I have a question, Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Assuming no grants are awarded, these are budget items for 27?
They will be, yes.
Do you have an approximation cost estimate, any ballpark, or is it way too early to tell?
We've got some rough estimates.
If you don't want to put anything in public, I understand, so.
Right. I mean, but I am happy to report that in our impact fee accounts, water current balance is about 665,000. Sewer is 326,000.
Those funds can be used to help
Yes.
supplement that, right? Thank
That's
you.
the plan for that.
Awesome, appreciate that.
You bet.
Question, Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Says here on item D, you're reporting for Public Works and Engineering. I believe recently the council realized that your title is the Water and Sewer Department. I see no mentioning of streets. So does that mean you're reporting for the streets? There's nothing to report for streets, or we don't have a street department, or I'm a little confused, and I think that needs a little clarification.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wagner, streets is under Mark Latham.
Ma'am, I was addressing my question to Mr. Clark,
I
and I
was
appreciate
answering
you
it for
pointing that
you.
out.
I was answering.
Move
it for
along.
you. Mr. Clark.
Anything
Madam
else?
Mayor, I do have another question
Yes,
for
sir.
if I can ask him.
Point of order.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
you mentioned a water or sewer line going to service the church. Is it going to be able to be serviceable to anybody else, or is it just specifically for
Yes,
that
it
project?
will be able to be extended further south eventually.
What, but I mean, for this point, for this purpose, I mean, we're taking it from Spinoto. And when I think of that, I kind of start thinking of the subdivision that came before us. We're not that far. We're just at Spinoto over Barrington to the church, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Well,
So-
actually, it comes behind the winery
Okay,
before it crosses the street. So there are others that will be able to connect to sewer there from the Knights of Columbus
okay,
to the winery.
gotcha. Okay, so there's only going to be one section of road that might be under construction as we do that. I'm just trying to think of the construction.
Yeah, that,
process.
and we'll probably
Are you going to bore it?
be able to bore that.
Okay, okay, awesome.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next is a building report. Is out. Brad, are you doing the building? That's what I thought. Okay. Mr. Spurlock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and the building report is listed up there for you guys for you to review. Again, commercial picked up a little bit last month. Our residential is still moving forward. We think that we're going to surpass what we did last year for residential. Commercial is going to have to come a long ways to what we see, but we're right now behind what we did year over year. But anyway, this is the building report, and I'm reporting part of this for the Community Development Department. So this is what we have to offer you guys at this time for the building report.
Are you doing the community development as well?
I will be doing the planning part.
May I ask one question?
You may.
Yes, sir.
This is something I don't know the answer to. On these vacant, kind of, I don't know what to call them, strip malls, promenade, several examples around town.
Mhm.
Will the build outs of those count towards the construction monies that we see in our report?
Yeah,
Or is that
typically
money-
what you will see is the building, the way the code has always been defined as, they'll do 80% up front, and then as they build out, another 20% will be accounted for the tenant infills.
But those figures would be included
Into
in
the
the
commercial.
commercial valuations?
Correct.
Should they start
Correct.
building those things out?
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, I know, has your software been put in place to help the tool that you got from us?
Placer?
Yes.
Yes, Placer.
Sorry.
We actually had our kickoff review 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to have another one. We got crossed up on the Zoom meeting, and so we're supposed to have another one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So,
Okay.
Yep.
So a little too
or,
early.
yeah,
to-
Wednesday.
A little too early to.
Yes, yes. correct.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Spurlock,
Yes.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I understand that this, you may not know the answer, I'm just curious, but on the commercial valuation for June, that is a big spike.
Mhm.
And also the residential valuation for June, although not as high as May, it's a biggish number. Do you know what accounts for those numbers in June on the commercial and the residential side?
June, we had another large-scale development that was issued their building permit. It's already been approved, but we issued the building permit. It's for Castellini behind Iron Hand Liquor.
Yep.
They will be studying that.
Right.
So that was the big jump for
Okay.
commercial. We're still seeing a lot for the subdivisions that are currently out there. One thing that you guys will be voting on tonight is another final plat for Renly Ray, so we'll be definitely seeing some more residential. And I'll get to my report here in just a minute, but we do have another subdivision that we're going to be voting on as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none? There,
Yeah, I was just going to give the planning agenda.
okay.
So I know Mark usually does that as well.
Mhm.
What we have coming up for Tuesday, the 28th, for planning, we've got a couple variance applications that were submitted to the city to consider. One is for a accessory building located on 572 Clintz. The other one is a variance for a subdivision on the lots, which that was part of the Planning Commission's voting will be on the preliminary plat for Aria subdivision. So that will be a preliminary plat and a variance for some of the lots. We will be discussing that. Other things that we'll be looking at as well is going to be a large-scale development for Arnold Blevins, which is located at 500 Jean Mary. They're putting an additional 8,400 square foot building on the existing site. With that, they have a waiver application to go along with it because of a sidewalk requirement. There's a drainage ditch there that they cannot put in place. So they've applied for a waiver, which we will discuss as well. One thing the Planning Commission would like to discuss, which we will, and if this will be a code change, will be coming for you guys, is the fencing requirement for front yards. We have looked around different cities. Right now, we have a 36-inch or a 3-foot requirement for front yard fencing. Most cities have 4 foot. And so we will probably be discussing that at Planning Commission. If they want to move forward, that will be coming to City Council for amendment of the code as well. So that's what we have for Planning Commission. Other thing I want to make mention of is last year, the business applications was put under our department. And to let you know where we're at as of right now, all the business applications were due at the end of June. And as of right now, we have about 70% that has already paid. And we're looking at around $28,000 in revenue that's been collected for that. We were budgeted $32,000, so we're right about $3,400 short. So we still have about another 30%. And I want to go on record to let the citizens know that if we don't have anything by August 1st, the fee's doubled. So I just want to make sure all the citizens know they still have to pay for their business license. So, but I wanted to give you that report as well. So that's all I have for you.
Mr. Spurlock.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wagner, you're supposed to address me, sir.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes, sir, you may.
Thank you. Mr. Spurlock,
Yes.
back to your planning report.
Yes.
How do we have a variance hearing on a large scale that's not been approved? That seems kind of odd to me. I served on the Planning Commission as chairman, and I've never heard of variances being given to something that's not approved. So how do you variance from what you don't know that's been approved?
Well, first, I will say this, that Jeff Hawkins has been appointed as a consultant to us, which he did reach out to me this last week, the week before. This is something we have done here in the city, and speaking with Zach, who is our city engineer, they do this quite often in different cities. However, Mr. Hawkins has brought this to our attention, and this is typically how we have presented things in the past, that if they have a discrepancy in their lot sizes based on code, there's a variance requirement. So, but it is still in a preliminary stage. So, Mr. Hawkins is supposed to reach out to us. So we still have this on the agenda. That could change, but we did want to bring this forward. But there's about 5 or 6 lots out there that are going to be required variances on. So, but again, I know from a preliminary standpoint, nothing's been approved, and Mr. Hawkins wants to address that with us. But that is currently on the agenda. So I know I probably didn't answer all the way, but Mr. Hawkins is going to discuss that with us.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
When you say he's going to address that with us, does that mean us or does that mean? the
He
planning
will,
department?
he'll with us and Zach. Zach's been invited to this meeting as well. So once we have information, I will definitely pass that along.
So us isn't us. Us is
The
y'all.
city.
Fair
So,
enough.
yes,
Thank you for letting me know.
absolutely. But I will make sure that you're aware.
I appreciate that. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'm seeking approval by city council members to waive the 3 reading rule on all ordinances.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
All right, moving on to old business. There is none. We'll move to new business. Right now, we have to appoint someone for Ms. Piazza's seat, and the only letter of intent that I have received is from Mr. Graves. Is he here? Oh, council, is this all right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you.
All right, perfect.
Council.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Doing well, thank you.
Just thought I would come up here and, for those of you that don't know me, give you a little bit of a history.
Could you give your name and address, please, sir?
Stephen Graves, 824 Taldo.
Thank you.
Speak up just a little bit, sir.
A little history for you guys that don't know me. I was born in Springdale, raised around the Hickory Creek area, graduated Springdale High School, father in construction, mother worked at Don Tyson. Worked for dad in construction for about 1 summer, but before I joined the military, because there's no way I was going to do that. And got a great job with the Air Force, working on the F-117 stealth fighter. Got to go around the world with it. After about 4 years, came home, started working for JB Hunt Corporate, started a small sign company. Father started having some problems with his illness, so I came back to construction, worked with him for a while, and then started Path Utility Construction. We started doing AT&T and were the AT&T primary for several years, started working with natural gas, sewer, towers, bridges, other oddball projects. Held a contract for City of Springdale Water directional boring for over 15 years. Was awarded the AT&T SVA contract in 2018 in Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith, doing aerial and underground, where we had, in 2024, we had 57 employees and 19 subcontractors with a total footprint of about 130 workers. During this time, we're also the emergency crews, so if anyone crashed into a pole in the middle of the night, that was us too. We decided to shut down Path in 2025 and slowly started transitioning employees and equipment over to the new SVA contractor. Many of those employees worked for my father over 20 years ago and still work in that building today, so I'm really proud that I got to keep their seats over there. Sold that building in 4 acres, still own the other 16 that sits beside it. For many years, I've kept up with every large project in Northwest Arkansas, because sooner or later Path will be walking in the door there, because we did the AT&T, so if they're opening the door as a residency or business, we were going to be there. So I track a lot of projects. Very familiar with easements, utilities, zoning, some government procedures. Not seeking this appointment because I have any kind of agenda. I genuinely care about Tontitown and love to contribute in a positive way. Don't pretend to have all the answers, but I bring years of leadership, strong work ethic, and I'll listen and serve my community. So my wife and I proudly call Tontitown home for over 20 years. It's where we live. It's where I've built my business. It'd be a privilege to serve in Ward 1 as a council member. That's all I got.
All right, council, does anyone have any questions?
Mayor, I do.
Yes, Mr. Wagner?
Seems like I remember you once before in that you ran for an alderman's position in Tontitown, did you not?
Correct, same address.
So this is not a newfound interest, as you've alluded to here.
True, I keep up with a lot that's going on around here.
And one thing that particularly looks important to me is you signed the front of paychecks as well as the back, but you sound like you signed the front of several. So
absolutely,
I think your experience in that respect, I would expect you would not spend the citizens' money any different than you'd spend your own.
Very true. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of people in the building and had open doors everywhere I came with every question. So I really love it here.
I certainly appreciate it, and thank you for the comments.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Mr. Burris?
I had a chance to speak to Craig yesterday. Thank you for the time that we spent on the phone, and I got to get all my questions answered then. Appreciate that. Some of the things that I asked about, was concerned about is, are there conflicts of interest? There aren't any. He's winding down his business. It isn't a new interest. He's done this before. He's a veteran. He's run a veteran-owned business. He's run an organization that had, I believe you said, 57 employees and 19 different contractors. And I think you just alluded to that again, scads of people under that leadership. And aside from all of that, I can't help but just notice that you are absolutely the best candidate for this position. Undoubtedly. But even if you weren't, you're a fantastic candidate. It was great chatting with you yesterday, and I think that you would serve the people well.
Thank you. Staying up in the middle of the night, staring at blueprints is what I've done for 20 years.
Well, yeah, that was one of the things that we talked about yesterday, is he said that he watches these meetings, and I said, oh, you're one of those 12 people that watch these meetings. So thank you for being engaged.
Mr. Wojtkowiak?
Just one comment. Obviously, if you've watched the meetings, you know too that we don't have all the answers either. So, but I think you'd be an asset here, obviously, based on what I've heard and what I've heard from other people and hearing from you. So, thank you for coming, and thank you for submitting your name.
Madam
Anyone?
Mayor, I also have some questions.
Mr. Montes?
Mr. Graves, thanks for coming up here. Thanks for applying. Thanks for answering my nudging to getting you to run for this seat. I do have a couple questions that I usually ask about every candidate, so I'm going to kind of go off that list and let you answer in between them. First one I have is this body meets twice a month. Do you see any conflict in your personal life of attending those two meetings each month?
None. Since shutting down my business, I've had a lot of time on my hands.
What makes you want to serve on Tontitown City Council, and what issues do you specifically believe that need the most attention right now?
Ooh, issues. Well, what makes me want to serve is Tontitown, the legacy. Springdale has Tyson, but Tontitown, it's got you guys. So it's really neat. Being able to, what I foresee going on at the interchange and then drive a few miles to someone's orchard is just, it's amazing here. So I just love the place.
And the last one I've got is, how would you balance growth and development while also protecting the existing residents and city services that we have?
It's a rough one. There's a lot of growth. Balancing that has definitely been a problem. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Have to look at the group.
Look and go as we go. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
What else?
I believe we probably need to take a short break for you, Madam Mayor.
Before that, I would like to see if there was anyone else that wanted to turn in a letter of intent that is here or would like to come up and speak. If not, I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then I'll be back.
Thank you.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Graves to the open position in Ward 1.
Okay. Do I have a second? Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Hey, at this time, Mr. Graves, if you'll come to the podium.
Congratulations, Mr. Graves.
Do we have a packet, Alderman, so we can follow along? No, I'm talking about a packet for the meeting.
Ms. Parker, do we have a packet for Mr. Graves? Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's just like the old days. Welcome aboard. Here's your packet.
There you go.
Okay, moving on. A discussion and approval of an ordinance to amend 3001 of Tontitown Municipal Code. Mr. Wagner.
This ordinance has been drafted by our city attorney, Mr. Farrar. It tightens up the language to make it more in line with the state latest amendment to the Freedom of Information, which requires presence versus verbal comments. I respectfully ask that this moves forward with an approval, and I make a motion that it does.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Does the ordinance need to be read?
Does the, you do it first?
No, ma'am, I'm just making sure.
Yeah. Attorney normally does that.
Right. I can do it now, and then we can discuss. That's
Okay.
totally fine. Well, anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, City of Tontitown, Washington County, Arkansas, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Tontitown, Arkansas, acting as the control authority for the city's publicly owned treatment works, granting a limited. Is that not this 30.01? I apologize. I've already read another one. Okay, an ordinance amending 3001 of the Tontitown Municipal Code to conform the city's remote participation requirements for city council meetings to current Arkansas law, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Discussion.
I just want to make clear, Mr. Wagner, Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
The impetus behind this was based on a discussion I think we were all privy to and party to with the a prior meeting in which it was deemed inappropriate that council members who are not present at this dais participate in discussion because it could be construed as deliberation. Is that correct?
That is correct. And as you've all been provided a email that Tyler, after conferring with the municipal league, specifically pointed to the chapter and verse within the 2025 revision to Arkansas Freedom of Information Act, which defined that, and that's what led to this amending agenda or
So,
amending ordinance.
and so really, we're just solidifying our code to comport with Arkansas statutes.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Mr. Burris?
I'm not crazy about the idea that we can't conduct business by Zoom. I'm not here. I'm sorry, I don't miss very often, about once a year on average. I got that out of the way, I think, for the year. But with that said, whether I like it or don't like it, that is currently the law of the state. And unless and until we can get the state legislators to make that change, deliberation includes talking. And so we can't do a whole lot about that. Is that a correct statement, Mr. Wagner?
Yes, I defer to what the attorney's already put in writing to you, so I'm not trying to paraphrase what he said, but I believe that was adequately explained.
Okay, Mr. Burris, the attorney is on the line, and he just sent me a text saying that he can read the resolutions and ordinances, and he can answer questions.
Super.
So you can ask him.
Fantastic. Counselor, how are you?
Hey everyone, I'm well. How are you?
Good. You sound like the voice of God.
That's what I was going for.
Louder and younger than I would have expected, but I'm glad you're here all the same. Can you shed a little light on that? I know you and I have talked about that before, and I did read what you wrote about that. But again, unless and until the law of the land changes or there is some sort of an emergency like we had during COVID, that will not change. Is that correct? And we don't have any chance of changing that on a city level?
The law currently states that the FOIA rules can be sort of put aside if the governor declares a state of emergency, right? So we wanted to keep the ordinance at a level in which if there's another pandemic, if there's some sort of emergency, that you can participate remotely. But currently the FOIA is written in a way where the municipal league certainly thinks that you may not participate, you may not ask questions, you may not deliberate in any form or fashion. So yes, that is correct. We think the best course of action, the best practice at this point would be to not allow any remote participation from voting members of the city council.
So if someone is not able to make a meeting, they can observe like anybody else can observe, but that's the extent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Farrar,
Welcome.
would you mind turning your volume down?
No, we got
just
it.
so-
We got it.
That's us.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions?
I would like to.
Yes, Mr. Montez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too kind of find this a little hard to swallow because I like being able to participate when I take a vacation or something. I'm still here on Zoom, so I understand it's the law and we've got to follow the law. So it's one of those things we kind of have to swallow, like Mr. Burr said. But I too kind of find it frustrating.
But we can speak to those that are
Sure.
in those legislative roles. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none?
Motion to, I second Mr. Wagner's motion.
No, we've
We-
already got a,
They already, yes, they did.
We're
Roll
just
call.
taking bites of apples.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, B, a discussion and approval of.
We
a
have an
re-
emergency calls, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, emergency clause. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the emergency clause.
Second.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Passes. Okay. B, a discussion and approval of a resolution approving Waste Management's request for an extension.
Since I'm the sponsor, am I recognized to speak?
Yes, sir, you are.
Before we consider a motion and begin discussion of the proposed resolution granting Waste Management additional time to develop and submit its pre-treatment proposal, I would like to briefly explain why I believe a limited extension deserves our consideration. I prepared a more complete written position paper documenting my review, which I am providing to the council and the city clerk and would ask to be made part of the record of tonight's meeting. I will not attempt to read the entire document tonight. My review indicates that it's not the first time that the city and Waste Management have addressed pre-treatment of EcoVista's leachate discharge. Historical records show that elevated ammonia concentrations were identified as early as 2020. Waste Management subsequently conducted pilot testing and by 2021 or 2022 had undertaken substantial engineering work on ammonia stripping pretreatment systems. By 2022, there was more than a conceptual proposal. Engineering documents had been prepared for a substantial pretreatment facility involving storage, chemical treatment, clarification, sludge handling, and ammonia stripping. Most importantly, in April of 22, the city's then public directors reviewed Waste Management proposed approach and stated it appeared sufficient to meet the pretreatment requirement. Yet for some reason that I've not been able to determine from the records available to me, that pretreatment program apparently was never carried through to implementation. That raises an important question for me as a council member. If Waste Management developed an engineered pre-treatment solution and the city staff indicated that that approach would satisfy pre-treatment requirements, why was it not implemented? I'm not suggesting tonight that I know that answer, nor am attempting to assign blame to Waste Management, previous or current city officials, NACA, ADEQ, or anyone else. But I do believe we need to understand this history before we repeat it. There's also a broader historical context. Beginning later in 2022 and continuing through subsequent years, the city's attentions increasingly focused on opposing expansion of landfill through council resolutions, administrative appeals, and litigation. The city certainly has a right to pursue those remedies, and those actions may have reflected legitimate environmental and public policy concerns. However, opposing landfill expansion and requiring appropriate wastewater pre-treatment were not mutually exclusive objectives. The city could pursue its concerns regarding expansion while also working towards implementation of a practical pre-treatment solution for the industrial wastewater already entering our sewer system. I believe it's reasonable for the council to ask why the early pre-treatment initiative apparently did not reach implementation while those other efforts were pursued. There's another reason I believe additional time may be appropriate. I've reviewed NACA surcharge reports covering January 25 through 26. Because Ecovista is, to my understanding, Tontitown's only industrial wastewater discharge user, those reports provide important information regarding changes to the industrial wastewater loading. The data shows that the pollution profile has changed and fluctuated over time. Total nitrogen concentrations have declined substantially between the beginning and end of the proposal, while BOD increased overall and suspended solids showed significant fluctuations. This is important because the pre-treatment system designed in 2021 and 2022 focused substantially on ammonia and nitrogen removal. That solution was appropriate 4 years ago and may still be appropriate today, or it may need to be modified to address actual wastewater characteristics. That's a technical determination that should be based on current engineering data. For those reasons, I believe there's a reasonable basis for granting Waste Management a limited and clearly defined extension. But what I want to emphasize is the word limited for you two gentlemen in the back of the room. That should not become another indefinite postponement of pre-treatment. This extension should be used to answer three fundamental questions. First, what happened to the pre-treatment solution in 2021 and 2022? Why it wasn't implemented? Second, what's the actual characteristics of Ecovista's industrial wastewater today? How have they changed? Third, based on current information, what treatment solution is now appropriate and what enforceable schedule would ensure that is actually implemented? My objective is not to revisit past decisions or to assign blame. My objective is to understand what happened previously so we do not repeat the same outcome. If we grant additional time, I believe that time should lead us to a clear endpoint, define treatment objectives, and an appropriate technical solution and implementation schedule and accountability. For those reasons, I'm prepared to support the moving resolution. I've provided my complete written position paper for the record and what background I'm prepared. With that background provided, I move the council proceed with the consideration of this resolution so that the matter may be open for discussion. Thank you.
That's your motion, Mr. Wagner?
Correct.
So I'll second your motion.
Thank you, sir.
All right, just before the discussion, I wanted to make sure that this was, one of the citizens sent in an email, and I want to make sure that this is entered into the record, and I have given it to Ms. Artemani.
What citizen is that?
Mr. Lovett.
Mr. Lovett, is he a citizen?
Well, from what Chief Jennison told me, someone from Alaska could come in here and we could not tell them they could not say what they wanted to because of the freedom.
We were trying to address that.
Point,
Okay.
point of order, Mayor. Where in our code allows interjection of non-legislators' comments within our discussion?
Sir, you do
Please-
not
please
have
advise.
the floor. So you do not have the floor.
Madam Mayor, to be fair, he did address you to ask a question.
Okay.
Would you please answer his question, or I can ask it if you'd rather answer me?
What I was going to finish saying, since I was rudely interrupted, is I spoke with Chief Jennison about this. And what I was told is that we cannot tell someone that they cannot speak because it freedom of information. I mean, it's a violation, thank you, to not allow someone to come and speak wherever they are from.
Okay, that
And-
may be true, but I think to call this particular person a citizen is a stretch when they moved away from the city some
Okay,
time ago.
a person.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Farrar, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just out of curiosity, I don't necessarily mind if people want to add to the discussion, but is that appropriate for people from wherever, as Chief Jennison may or may not have alluded, that we can just give the floor to whomever?
Yeah, so long as we're following our own ordinances, right? Like what the law says here is that we're going to give broad First Amendment rights to our citizens to come and speak, so long as we curtail that ability to come speak with our rules. So what the ordinance says here, I believe, is that and someone correct me if I'm wrong, at legislative meetings, the public gets to give comments at the beginning. If the mayor has her own thoughts and ideas and wants to contribute to the discussion and wants to do that based on a statement given to her, I suppose she can do that. But really, we just rely on our own rules here.
Okay, I think, I know we've been in the process of changing some of that, perhaps that hasn't happened yet. Regardless of that, Madam Mayor, if I may continue.
Yes, sir.
I did read what the gentleman wrote, and I've taken it under advisement. I think that there's a lot here that does make sense. Whether it's a part of our record or not, I did take the time to read it, and I do believe that there are some fair concerns regarding a potential extension. Go ahead, Daniel.
Mr. Montez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Farrar, so the appropriate part to put these into the record would probably be in section 12 at the public comment section, not particularly in item B under 11, under number 11 on our agenda, correct?
I would agree with that.
Okay. So we can put those in at public comment section and have that in the record as if they were here in person and spoke at the mic.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else?
With that said, if it's okay to discuss the position before us, I don't necessarily have a problem with an extension. However, a lot of time has passed. The only person that's senior on this particular council, to me, as odd as that seems to me, is the gentleman to my left, Mr. Artemani. And this existed since before I got here, that these conversations have existed with our neighbors, Waste Management, WM. So I do understand concerns about litigation and various things. I don't agree that litigation should preclude treatment. And I do believe that something needs to be handled in that regard. With that said, we haven't been trying to continue those conversations, at least to the best of my knowledge. And I believe that perhaps now is the time to open that door, give a brief window to try to rectify those particular problems and move forward from here, instead of each of us blaming the other party, because of course we all have our own view on things. The city would love to say that it's their fault, and they of course would love to say it's our fault, and I'm sure the truth lies somewhere in the middle. With that said, not crazy about it, but I am amenable to that. Thank you.
Mr. Wojtkowiak.
Just a couple things. Mr. Wagner, if I may, did you want your 3 questions answered, or is that going to be part of the process of this going forward? Do you want these questions, particularly number 1?
Those questions would be answered, if I may respond to your question, is that during this limited time period, I think we need to get those. When I'm given my 5 minutes to discuss, if the mayor will allow me to speak, I've got further comments that might elucidate on that, but at this point, those 3 questions have to be answered at some point, and I think we're given a window that the gentleman in the background there, their company, their experts, and our engineers and experts can, pardon me, chew the fat and figure this out.
Yeah, thank you. And it looks like, I mean, obviously 2 and 3, I don't think can be answered tonight. Certainly, I think
No.
number 1 could be answered tonight, but I'm not asking, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I don't know that it does any good to try to assign blame to anybody either. I think
No.
there's enough of that to go around for everybody. I do want to point out something though on your timeline that you gave us as Exhibit A. You know, April 6, 2022, the engineering process narrative. And then the next entry is not until April 27, April 27, 22. After May 10 of 2022 is the date I want to get to. And then there's not anything else until 2026 for the extension request. Just pointing out that Mayor Russell wasn't even in office until June. So it seems to be there was once you came into office, there's nothing on the timeline. Again, I'm not ascribing blame to anybody, but it's just an odd date for the historical timeline to kind of shut off there, and here we are in 26. I'm not going to make any accusations either. It's time to get this ball rolling and get the solutions that we're seeking, and you all are seeking too, I think, to the pretreatment and other issues. And I'll yield the rest of my time.
Mr. Waskowiak, to the point of the timeline, it was generated by KNWA, and I had nothing to do with the timeline.
It was just, I didn't, if
I wouldn't
implied
take it
that
that you were inferring that.
put
I
it
just,
together.
for the record, I want to let you know where the timeline came
Yes, sir,
from.
thank you. Yeah,
All right.
didn't mean to imply that
If
you were
council
instructor.
approves, if someone would make a motion to allow Mr. Vernon to come up and speak, we can vote on it at this point.
Ma'am, we have not completed discussion. We have a motion and a second. I would like,
I understand that,
5
sir,
minutes.
but you said we couldn't move forward until we had the questions answered. And please quit
no,
speaking out
ma'am,
of turn.
there is a
Please quit
motion and a
speaking out of
second,
turn.
and you're out of order. Let's call the attorney and see who's right here, ma'am. There's a 5-minute discussion pursuant to our codes that allows each individual
I am-
alderman to make comments.
I do have
I
the
have not
authority
had
to
my
ask
5
him to
minutes.
step
And
down,
again, your
and you may have to do
personal
that.
attack.
Point of
Yes,
order,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so does anybody else have any questions?
I would like to make a comment if I could.
Yes, Mr. Montez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too, think we ought to grant some kind of extension. However, I think a 4-month extension to October's a little far out there. I think that maybe we should look at doing a 30-day extension, and we can come back every 30 days and get an extension and get a progress report. We don't have any kind of committee over this project overseeing this, so that would be only, I would assume, Mr. Clark would be the one overseeing this. But if we could have some teeth in it. If we did a 30-day extension, come to us with whatever progress has been made, come before us, get another one granted, and that way we've got some kind of deadline to get a progress on where we're at on getting this pre-treatment and implemented. I think that'd be a better approach than just giving a 4-month, throw it to the wind until we get to October, and then, finding that we're still at square one.
I think that I agree
Madam-
with you. No, sir.
Madam Mayor, may I have my 5 minutes now?
Not at this time, I'm speaking.
Madam Mayor, may I speak? I do believe you're out of order, ma'am. He was speaking earlier, the gentleman was. You may not like what he has to say, but he does have a right to speak.
First, you're out of order by speaking right now, sir. I'm trying to keep this civil.
Please do.
Okay. Mr. Wagner, do you have anything else that you need to say in your 5 minutes?
Yes, I've got my 5 minutes now.
Go.
Okay, thank you very much. Since Mr. Montez suggested a 30-day time period, I'd like to point out that this resolution before us, I want to address a concern that's somewhat separate from whether we should grant this particular extension. My concern is how we arrived at it. I continue to come back to 2021. At that time, we recognized a problem. My understanding from the documents of the downstream treatment concern was familiar. We've got to remember that the discharge limits were established by our POTW, which is NACA. We do not set those. And NACA had a very significant part of why these were not put into place. I think to extend this to 30 days is futile because there's a lot of moving parts. NACA has to be involved as our POTW. Technical people have to be involved. I don't think 30 days, what are we going to do? Have special meetings every 30 days to talk about how we're this far along? I think it's a reasonable time period for anybody that's ever done or speaking to the technical people that's involved here to allow them, 3 months, 2 months? I'm not saying this time when we stick a stake in the ground, I'm not going to keep moving the target. I just want to give people the absolute enough time to fish or cut bait, come up with a plan, and move on. To move every 30 days, you're accomplishing nothing. So with that said, I don't raise questions or relitigate the decisions. I'm just saying, let's be sensible about this. Let's use the input from technical people, and I saw an engineer shaking his head back there, that might somewhat be in agreement with what I've just said. We're not engineers. I'm surely not an engineer, nor is any of y'all. I just think that it's a plausible and reasonable solution. And I will go one step further for you people. What are you going to do? What recourse, and maybe we should ask Mr. Farr this, what recourse do we have? We set a 30 days. We're trying to reach a reasonable period. It seems to be reasonable. They've asked for it. I'm not saying kick the can down the road any further. I may not be like some of y'all. When I said a no-fail date, that's exactly what it means. But you need to give somebody the time that they can do this. I yield.
Mr. Montez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And to that, Mr. Wagner, I too applaud that. And if we can get Mr. Clark and Mr. Johnston to come up and see if a 30-day timeline would be appropriate and they think that would work, I'd gladly like to hear from their perspective, and also Waste Management, and if they think that would be acceptable to them if we gave them a 30-day extension so that we can get a progressional update each 30 days. I mean, I think that'd be great to hear from the experts.
All right, I will go ahead and allow that.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner is correct. I mean, it takes time to get things put together. And I know they do have some data from the previous testing, and they will implement that, but they will have to update some of that information that was done almost 5 years ago. So I don't feel like that the time that they've requested is unreasonable.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson.
Really don't have anything to add beyond what Mr. Clark said. I think that pretty much sums it up. Engineering studies do take a lot of time. Even if you have the data to start and you got a head start, they still take a lot of time, especially for a treatment process like this. So
okay.
I have a question. So would it be sufficient for them to give us kind of where they're at, where they're at in their process, and we could get that every 30 days?
If you wanted to ask for a status update, you certainly could, but I think to get a full, or at least even a preliminary feasibility study on different treatment processes where they analyze different alternatives, maybe evaluate this versus that, put cost to it, it's going to take longer than 30 days. So, yeah.
And I do think that Mr. Vernon can work well together. Would you like for them?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Yes, I'm allowing you to come and speak, Mr. Montez.
I'm so sorry. That's not on our agenda, and I don't mean to be rude in any way, but isn't that something we need to vote on as a council?
We can vote on it, yes, or I can make an ultimate decision on this.
You can make the decision without us voting for it?
It's my meeting. I am allowed.
I'm so sorry, Mayor. I thought it was our meeting.
It is our meeting, but I'm the one that's in charge of this meeting.
I see. Fair enough.
But council had requested, they wanted questions. Mr. Montez had questions.
Understood.
If you want to vote on it, make a motion.
No, ma'am. For the record, I'm not entirely certain that you're being fair to those of us up here, but you are correct. You are the presiding officer, as you wish. Not just here. I believe that you've stepped out of your bounds, but that's fine. Not in this case. Feel free.
Go ahead and come to the podium. Mr. Montez.
Thank you.
I'm just going to be real quick, and I want to introduce Carl Simmons. As you know, I do the public affairs, and so I can't answer most of your questions, but Carl has been with us since prior to the last large-scale development, and he can answer more of the timeline of events for you guys.
Thank you for being here.
As far as the 30 days, it would be more of a status. Just these are the phone calls we've made. I mean, that's not, wouldn't get much from us. We would need at least that time frame to kind of get our, I mean, we've got to go through the process of hiring the engineers for the project again. So, and that ball has already started. So that's rolling.
So then I ask, so you think October's a realistic date to where we can have an implementation?
And we're sprinting to get to October.
Okay.
So
is this an open mic that we can ask you a question? How sure are you? Because I've heard deadlines before, and again, I'm willing to give you that deadline, but fellas, it's time we fish or cut bait. This is not a new problem.
Look, we've had a lot of discussions that come up with the date that we asked for, and again,
I understand.
There was a lot of those people in that panel that wanted more time, but we knew that we needed to give you something that you're asking for. We needed to push, and therefore we did.
Yeah.
So I think we asked for a reasonable date. It's a sprint for us to get there, but we'll hold our contractors to it. So.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right. True.
Any other, Mr. Wojtkowiak?
Mr. Simmons, thanks for coming. Can you provide council some examples of similar solution processes that you might have in place at other locations that we might be able to look at and say, okay, here's what they did with this facility in this location. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Surely this is not the first pre-treatment facility you guys have.
You're
put in
correct. It's
place.
not the first one we have. It's landfill operations is what we do.
Right.
Wastewater treatment is a secondary thing. We do have experts, but that is not our game, but we do it.
Yes, sir.
We don't, in the market area that I operate in, there may be two. So there's one in Louisville. It's a rather large facility. And I can't imagine, I mean, they just upgraded that and it took them well over 2 years, and they had a facility, they had one running. So there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, looking at the composition of what we deal with, working with this through the city, through NACA, because we've all got to agree. So what I do, I could hurt NACA for the water, right? So we've all got to be on the same page. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of nuance from the technology. Even 5 years ago, the technology is way different. The composition of the leachate may be very similar, but we may be looking to do other things as well. So that there's a lot to this.
Okay.
I wish we could. I mean, again, I'm sprinting to get to October.
And it just sounds like, if I may, it's what the landfill deals with here is probably totally different than what they deal with in Louisville. Maybe not completely, but maybe that could be the reason for
I
the
would say the leachates are very similar.
leachates are. Okay.
Yeah, across the country, I would say leachates are very similar. It's more the treatment facilities.
Okay.
It's just like what they're willing to, NACA, they're okay treating the water that it is. I mean, that's the historical piece. That's why we didn't put it in, because they didn't want to treat the water. They wanted to treat the water they knew, not the water they didn't.
Mr. Carl.
Thank you.
Question. I appreciate NACA's position. Matter of fact, I spent a lengthy
Sure.
phone call with Mike Neal, the NACA plant, and he explained just to you his exact words: I can treat the devil I know, but I can't treat the devil I don't know.
Right.
However, we've got some citizens sitting back here that's been smelling ammonia. It's not really pleasant. The only thing I will come to a conclusion is, while it might have appeased NACA, because he made it very clear that stripping of ammonia was a fairly simple process, and that it was a pH adjustment. And that was one of the most difficult from a treatment standpoint. So I've been on both sides of these. I was chairman of NACA for a while, and I was chairman of the Tontitown Water and Sewer Commission. So I think I speak with this a little bit more basis than most. I'm certainly not an engineer, but we've got to take action to deal with what our citizens have been put up with. And that's where I want it very red line, hyphenated explanation point that we need to move forward. I'm in good faith with everybody. I don't believe we need to go to the courtroom again. It hadn't been too well right now. And I think that was a poor judgment call on somebody's part. But anyway, I just want to illustrate again, we need to get a plan in place.
We will work with you guys wholeheartedly.
And I appreciate it, and I'll take you at your word, Carl.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Anything else?
Mr. First?
Yes, Mr. Simmons, thank you. I don't believe we've met. I appreciate you being here. The outer loop RDF in Louisville is roughly, what, 518 acres permitted
wow.
footprint? Is that right?
I couldn't.
Okay,
I couldn't
let's
answer.
let's presume my Google skills are better than your memory. It's fine. And then here, Ecovista's landfill has a footprint of 609 acres. So we're nearing that. You say it's a large facility. If you figured out a way to do that in Louisville, we ought to be able to figure out a way to do that here. And I know that you're dealing with different people.
Oh,
And
absolutely, we can figure it out. That's not at all what I was saying. I'm just
Okay.
saying from a timeline, it took a long time to build that.
And
that,
yet-
and that was to upgrade it.
yes, sir. And yet presumably, this is something that you guys had decided some years ago was reasonable and you had started the process on. So are there still some of those remnants lying around that we can pull back together? Or are we starting completely from scratch?
Not completely from scratch. We'll be able to take some of that, what we learned in the early 2000s, or what, 2020, 2021, whatever that was. We'll be able to take that and run with it. But we do still have to evaluate, does that technology, does that thought process or treatment still work based on where we are today?
And then you had mentioned right at the beginning of your comments that you have already started this process.
Absolutely.
When did that begin? How far into that are we?
Not long after we got the letter from you guys. So, but we have to get, we're hiring consultants. So that's the process.
Okay.
We have to ask for what we need, and they give us quotes to get this thing going.
Well, I agree with Councilmember Wagner and probably everybody up here that we will not take kindly to that can being kicked continuously down the road or recycled, as it were. But we would rather not keep recycling the timeline, but get some business done. Does that make sense?
Understood.
Mr. Montez, Mr. First, were you finished?
Yes, ma'am. I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Montez?
Thank you, Carl, for coming before us. Quick question. You said there's a multiple of moving parts. What are those moving parts? I mean, y'all are one, we're one, NACA's one. What are the parts that we're looking to communicate with to get this going?
The treatment limits, the treatment methods, and then what the constituents are. So they all have to work.
Okay.
And again, we all have to agree, because again, we can hurt each other in that regard if we don't work together.
Sure. Yeah, so, I mean, it sounds like once we nail those three things down, we get with NACA, we figure out what we can do with them, and we've already have the plan from 2022 to install this ammonia treatment, pre-treatment
Yeah, and the other moving part in that regard is just to install it. Unfortunately, I can't
Correct.
just pick up the phone and say, hey,
Let's
it's
get
not
it
like
going.
going to Walmart.
Yeah. And so we're looking to get this extension so that you can get all those parts together, get it all communicated, and come with us in October 10th and have a plan of how we're going to take care of this. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none? We have a motion and a,
Vote, I think.
all right, roll call.
Yeah, this is a motion to approve as written.
As written.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Stephen. Motion passes.
Okay, I'll move on to C, an approval of a resolution establishing landfill road access recovery fee. Mr. Wishpoliak.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. And you are correct with your statement at the beginning of the meeting that I will motion to table this indefinitely. But I do want to put into the record my reasoning for this so that it's clear that we're not just kowtowing. There's sound reasons for pushing this into the future, which I will expound upon once there's a second and we can discuss.
If you made a motion,
Yes, sir, I did.
I'll
Motion to
second
table.
it.
All right. So my reasons are pretty well laid out for not pursuing this by our city attorney. I'm just going to highlight some of the things that Mr. Farrar emailed to council after the last meeting. He basically made, and Mr. Farrar, please correct me if I misconstrue anything that you've sent to me or sent to council, or if anything that you want to elaborate on that I'd leave out of this statement. Mr. Farrar laid out basically two issues for us. One is the city's statements made by the city against its own self-interest, and the other was the tax versus the fee issue. Disregarding potential legal risks that an undertaking such as this is reckless, dangerous, and has the potential to potentially expose members of council. Those are my words. This is from the city attorney, and I do have copies of his email, which I've got his permission to copy. If anybody wants copies of the email that he sent to council with his position statement on this, they're here. But I'm just going to read some of the excerpts. It's a 5-page email, so I don't have time to read them all. Knowingly proceeding in the face of identified legal deficiencies may also impair the city's litigation position. Statements by public officials acknowledging that they were aware of legal concerns but chose to disregard them may be discoverable and introduced as evidence to demonstrate the city's intent, purpose, or knowledge of legislation challenged in court. Such statements may undermine the defenses that the city acted reasonably, in good faith, or in reliance upon its legal obligations. That's not scary enough. Council members should also appreciate and recognize that statutory immunity is not absolute and should never be viewed as a license to knowingly disregard applicable law. In some situations, personal liability may be at risk. I'm not willing to take that risk.
Amen.
Personally. On the tax versus fee issue, although there are colorful arguments supporting characterization of the proposed landfill roadway impact charge as a regulatory fee, there are also significant legal risks that the city should carefully consider before adoption of this or similar legislation. In my legal opinion, the more substantial concern is not simply whether a court would ultimately label the charge a tax or a fee, but whether Arkansas law affirmatively and clearly authorizes the city of Tontitown to impose this particular type of exaction in the first instance. My review of the law concludes that it does not do so. Further on in this email, Mr. Farrar states, first, Arkansas municipalities possess only those powers expressly granted by the Arkansas Constitution or the Arkansas General Assembly, together with those powers necessarily implied from those express grants. Unlike water rates, sewer charges, sanitation fees, planning fees, or other regulatory assessments specifically authorized by the Arkansas Code annotated, there appears to be no Arkansas statute expressly authorizing municipalities to impose a roadway impact fee upon selected commercial truck traffic or even on all traffic that services a regional landfill. And lastly, the proposed ordinance, however, plainly goes beyond typical regulation and imposes financial condition for the usage of the city street. Rather than restricting commercial conduct or establishing operating requirements, it imposes a recurring monetary exaction upon a single class of commercial users for the purpose of financing roadway improvements. There is no Arkansas statute to expressly authorize municipalities to impose a per trip, per load, or destination-based roadway impact fee of this nature. And that's the last thing I'll read. Again, I've got copies of his email if you want to read it in full. He quotes the statutes that we can obviously go further in depth. And as I've said before, up on the dais, I prefer negotiation to litigation.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments?
I would make one if I could.
Mr. Montez?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Washkowiak, thank you for your presentation. I just would like to echo, and I understand, I got the email as well from Mr. Farrar, so I understand his point of view and where he's, warned us councilmen of where we could be headed if this goes forward. I just like to echo, where do we go from here? $20 million to service those roads from the landfill that those trucks go on each and every day, and to have the point driven that, going with a loaded 80,000 pound truck and all these trash trucks, it shows that road is more significantly damaged going to the landfill than it is coming out of the landfill. And that $20 million, and we get 100,000 every 4 years. Is that what I remember from the? And I know that was made years ago, and I'm sure $100,000 every 4 years seemed like a lot, but I don't think anybody thought back then about inflation at that point. And so we're at a time where we're getting estimates and engineered costs back that are saying we're at $20 million right now, and it's just going to keep going up, and that infrastructure needs going to be needed. And so we've got to figure a way, and I think that's where Mr. Latham, this isn't a Tontitown problem, this is a regional problem. We've got trash coming from Springdale and all over that's coming through here, that's coming right to Tontitown, and we're footing the bill for $20 million for these roads. And God, we got to find a way to make this right for the citizens of Tontitown and them footing this bill. So, I think I echo this one. If this came back to us, is we got to do something to help ourselves be in a better financial position to facilitate the needs of waste management. But thank you for your point. Thank you for bringing this up. And I just echo that out to everybody. We've got to figure a way to come up with 20. That's just for this route to this place. That's not all the rest of the road. So it's frustrating.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Mr. Burris.
Thank you. Universal citation in the Arkansas Code 27-76-702 states in Part A, a regional mobility authority may adopt a resolution that designates a toll road, a toll facility project, or a portion of a transportation project as a controlled access road. We can't. Arkansas Department of Transportation is that regional mobility authority. But there are some things that we can that they could do that would allow or deny access on a particular area. I think, although I very much appreciate Mr. Farrar's position, I think that Mr. Farrar misconstrued some things that have been previously said. I don't think this body in any way wants to thumb their nose at the law or scoff at the law in any way whatsoever. What I do believe we're trying to do is we're trying to help citizens here who are suffering in all manner of ways. To the leachate point, when can we get some help for these people that have been suffering for years, right? You don't need to answer that now, but it's one of those things that's out there. And as a city, we are suffering from the decay of roads that are disproportionately used by large trucks from lots of different places. So I do believe that we need to do something. I don't at all mind tabling the idea. I never fully believed the resolution was perfect in any way. When I voted for it 2 weeks ago, I had hoped that when we showed up this week, when we got it last Friday, that it would look a little different than it did. It did not. And I don't feel all that excited about the fact that it looks the same. With that said, if we table this, and I know that there's a motion to table, I would rather it not be indefinite. I would rather be able to bring this up at another time, and maybe not this specific resolution, but the problem at hand. So if the resolution itself goes away, but the idea doesn't leave our minds and our hearts, then I feel much better about that particular idea. Otherwise, I don't know how we get to it and when we get to it. And if you could answer that, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm not going to set a date, and certainly anybody up here can redraft, fine tune, whatever it is they choose to do to this, to try to satisfy Arkansas law and the things that we can do. But again, I think there have been talks, and Mr. Simmons, I'm not sure how much, I know Mr. Vernon's quite aware, and they have shown that they understand the concern that the city has on this issue. And therefore, I think it's reasonable to continue to discuss with them what they can do to help. I think that's fair. I've sat down in person with Mr. Vernon and Mr. Small. They don't strike me as people who are going to stab us in the back. They were very forthcoming about everything that we talked about. So I think, along with this pretreatment issue, which they're moving at a pretty fast clip if it gets done in 4 months. Let's give them an opportunity to do this too, and see what we can work out. Mr. Latham has done. He's been in communications too. So, I'm willing to negotiate further.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Then may I suggest, and I understand the potential problem in this, but might I suggest, instead of tabling it, that we take it to a vote this evening? If you take this to a vote this evening, I will vote against it. And then we can have this particular issue, instead of being tabled indefinitely, just sort of disappear. And of course, as you've said, we can bring it back. We could do it either way, but why not just put a nail in that particular issue? Would that make you feel better or not?
It doesn't make any difference, quite frankly. We have a motion and a second on the tabling. I guess I can amend my motion to, I'd prefer not to do that. I think
Yes, sir.
I'll leave it as a table.
Fair enough. Yes, sir.
Let me understand again completely. Your motion is to table it.
Yes, sir.
So an affirmative yes would table this indefinitely.
Yes, sir.
Just so we're clear. I think I understood it, but I wanted to hear it from you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. That is my intent with my
Thank you.
motion.
All right.
Anyone else?
Well, since I've not had my turn at 5 minutes, typically, most meetings that I've observed, it goes in an orderly fashion. We start at one end of the table to the other, but it seems like at this one, it's kind of whoever yells loudest. But there's a few points that, to bolster, I think, Mr. Waskowiak's already well-made case, is first, what statutory and legal authority? Our attorney said he can't find it. Now, I understand that Mr. Burris has got different opinions, but I'll let his law degree work up against Tyler's to see who's smartest in that regard. Second,
He passed the bar, I did not. For the
what,
record.
what is the engineering and financial analysis that established the $4 a ton? Third, have we separate landfill-related deterioration from normal pavement aging, the deterioration caused by construction, agricultural, and other commercial trucks? Fourth, do all the vehicles and all the waste tonnage subject to this charge actually travel on specific municipal roads? I think that's true. Has our city attorney provided an affirmative legal petition? He has. And I'll add a sixth question. If the city has legal authority to impose a mandatory charge in a resolution, or is a resolution the proper form, shouldn't it be an ordinance? Resolutions are intent. Ordinance are binding. I yield.
Okay, anyone else? We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Okay, this is the motion to table. Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Passes to table.
We will move on to D, an approval of a resolution to enter into an agreement with Civic Plus for agenda management software. Mr. Wagner.
Before I restate my position on this agenda item, I want to point out the position statement I presented tonight was previously presented approximately 2 weeks ago during the committee at whole. In my view, the fact that I'm essentially required to repeat the same position tonight illustrates one of the inefficiencies of our current meeting structure. We discussed the matter at a committee at whole, and now, because the item has advanced to the regular committee meeting, for formal action, much of the same discussion and supporting information must be presented again. This is one reason I have advocated replacing the committee to whole and with two regular council meetings. Under this structure, matters can properly be placed on a regular agenda, fully discussed, and when the council is prepared to act, decide. With that observation, I will restate the previously position that I presented 2 weeks ago, that the product that Civic Plus has demonstrated to Mr. Spurlock and others would seem to greatly enhance the efficiencies in the ordinance preparation thing that we go through every single meeting. It's been once a month, but now it might be twice a month. So with that, I make a motion that we accept the proposal to adopt Civic Plus and implement their new municipal software regarding agenda.
And I'll second that.
Second, sorry, my mic's not on. We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to
Motion
take a
passes.
5-minute break. Meeting adjourned.
they can build.
We'll do two more, then you can. Are we ready? Are we all ready? I'd like to call the meeting back to order. Okay, moving on to E, an approval of an ordinance to establish standing committees, sponsored by Mr. Wagner. Mr. Wagner?
I'm the sponsor of this ordinance and spoke at some length in support of it when it was presented at July 7th Committee of the Whole. I do not intend to repeat that position paper tonight. The ordinance and supporting materials have been provided. I believe this proposal is ready for the council to discuss and act upon. The purpose is straightforward. The ordinance establishes 6 standing committees, provide focused review of matters involving finance, public works, wastewater and sewer, public safety, parks and recreation, and government operations and personnel. These committees are strictly advisory. They cannot spend money, execute contracts, direct employees, establish city policy, or bind the city. Final authority remains with the full council. I believe our discussion tonight under Agenda 11B concerning waste management provides a very timely example of why standing committees could benefit the city. This issue involves years of history, wastewater treatment requirements, engineering alternatives, potentially significant consequences for the city's wastewater system. As we discussed, questions remain about pretreatment alternatives. This is precisely what a type of complex, long-running issue could benefit from a water and sewer committee. Too long we've listened to one person interpret what they heard. I'd rather the whole group hear it. In a properly noticed public meeting, which this committee would be because there would be more than one alderman in it, the committee could receive information from the city staff, engineers, wastewater professionals, regulatory representatives, identifying misinformation or missing information, and report its findings. The committee would make the final decision. The city council would, but the council would make the decision with the benefit of a more organized and continuous review process. I'm not suggesting the standing committee would necessarily have changed the outcome of waste management matter. I'm saying that the structure providing greater continuity, institutional knowledge, transparency, and elected official involvement could have benefited the city. Finally, the process surrounding the ordinance itself illustrates another reform that I would encourage the council to consider later on tonight's agenda. We've discussed this ordinance at the July 7th Committee of the Whole meeting. We've discussed substantially the same ordinance again. I believe a properly prepared ordinance distributed in advance, reviewing by the city attorney and supported by appropriate documentation can be discussed, debated, and amended and acted on. This is why I believe that these two reforms complement each other. Use standing committees as needed. I'll go one step further. We're going probably in September, later part, start addressing the 2027 budget. What better time to have a group of people? And as you see, this ordinance provides for bringing in outside experts, in this case, accountants, to help us with the budgeting process, like we bring in engineers to help us with the waste management process. For those reasons, and after discussions with staff members, I would like to propose this ordinance with one change, an effective date. And like that the ordinance as written currently says it's effective 1/1/27, I'd like to make it effective September 1, so we could benefit from the aforementioned budgetary process as well as the October deadline that we provided waste management with that. With that, I make a motion that we go forward with this and would appreciate a second.
I'll second it as amended. And before we discuss, do we need to have it read?
Mr. Farrar, would you mind?
I don't care at all. Just trying not to deafen you guys with my voice. This is item F, an approval of an ordinance abolishing the committee. Oh, sorry. Item E, an approval of an ordinance to establish standing committees.
Okay, any discussion? Nothing?
If I may speak.
Mr. Burris?
Thank you. Just to go on record, I liked that it was starting on January 1st. I think I like it even better that it would begin on September 1st. So I wholeheartedly agree with the change and absolutely support that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Nope. We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Okay, this is a motion to approve with one change to change the date, the effective date to September 1st. Mike?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Mick?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we move on to F, approval of an ordinance abolishing the committee of the whole meeting and creating 2 city council meetings sponsored by Mr. Wagner.
Well, I've already kind of led into this, but I believe the process we're following with this very ordinance illustrates exactly why the change is warranted. The ordinance was presented and discussed at July 7 Committee of the Whole. Now at this regular, we go again over it with a redundancy is intended to eliminate it by passage of this ordinance. This proposal does not add another meeting. We're already having twice a month meetings. It simply converts an existing Committee of the Whole meeting into a regular legislative meeting. Under the proposed structure, the council would continue meeting on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. The difference is both would be regular legislative meetings at which council could conduct lawful municipal business. If an issue is ready for action at the first meeting, the council could act. If additional information, legal review, public input, further consideration is needed, they could postpone the matter, table it, and carry it forward to the next meeting. Nothing in this proposal requires the council to act prematurely. The decision about whether an issue is ready for action remains entirely with the council. Again, the ordinance itself provides a practical example. We discussed this again at July 7. Because the meeting was not a regular, we could not complete the legislative process. We're now revisiting that. Had the July 7th been a regular legislative meeting, the council could have decided then whether the ordinance was ready for action. If it was ready, we could have acted. If not, we could have postponed it. There's also a benefit of public transparency. The distinction between committee of the whole and a regular legislative meeting is not necessarily clear to our citizens. A resident watching the council assemble and discuss city business may reasonably wonder why we can't spend considerable time discussing an issue but cannot act on it. Having 2 regular legislative meetings creates a simpler process. At either regular scheduled meetings, citizens will know that municipal business may be introduced, discussed, and when appropriate, acted on. The proposal does not reduce debate, public participation, legal review, or council oversight. It does not add meetings. It does not increase compensation. It does not add staff. And it does not increase the city budget. It simply converts a meeting we already hold into a regular legislative meeting and gives the council greater flexibility to conduct the city's business efficiently and transparently. The expansion of this ordinance demonstrates the issue before us. We discussed it at the committee hall. Now we're discussing it again. I believe we could have a more straightforward process. 2 regular meetings, 2 regular legislative meetings, the same opportunity for discussion, public comment. For those reasons, I ask my fellow council members to support adoption of this ordinance, and I make a motion that it pass.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, do you have any discussion?
I have one question.
Arlani.
It's not addressed in here. In the event that the mayor is not able to attend, vacation, sickness, whatever, Who will conduct the meeting? I will be gone in a few short months.
I think the procedure would be at the council's discretion. In some cities, there's a pro temp. I don't have an answer for that. I defer to Mr. Farrar as the most appropriate way to do it. But once again, the council makes the rules, and the council would determine that, and perhaps that would be something that we could address. I don't know what happens right now.
Well, so noted, but I was just curious. I assumed it would come to me
I understand.
for the time being, but
I understand, and unless you get run over by a freight train. But.
And I'm happy to weigh in on this.
Please do, Mr. Farrar.
Sure. So if the mayor is absent from a legislative meeting, the council just needs to elect someone to be pro temp to preside over the meeting in his absence for that particular meeting.
Would that be for that meeting only or for the duration of the session of legislation?
Mr. Farrar, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in January, every
Mayor,
January.
I had a question on the floor. If you would let him answer it, please.
Could you restate, Mr. Wagner?
My question was the pro temp that you mentioned of the election process. Would that be for that particular meeting, or would the council elect a pro temp for the entirety of that year?
No, that would just be that particular meeting, I believe. But I'll research that prior to us bringing forward any legislation.
I think you're right, but that would be a rule I think the council could establish.
I believe by motion and vote, you would establish at that meeting who the pro temp is.
Yes.
Mr. Farrar, in January of every year, a chairperson is elected for the meetings in case of my absence. And usually what happens, or what has happened in the past, and this is from Mr. Eichmann, we choose someone at the beginning of the year to have the chair and the vice chair.
And what if that person don't meet?
And Mr. Artemani was the one that was voted on and elected for this year. And usually it's in January
But
that happens.
yes, I believe that was for the committee of the whole, though, correct? What Mr. Wagner's question was what happens if the mayor doesn't show up for a legislative meeting that the mayor is required to preside over? I believe the statutory answer to that is under Arkansas law, for that particular meeting in the mayor's absence, you would vote by motion for a pro temp for that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody? Seeing none, roll call.
Oh, we need this read.
read an
I'm sorry.
ordinance.
Okay, sorry, happy to do that. This is item F, an approval of an ordinance abolishing the committee of the whole meeting and creating 2 city council meetings.
Roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
There's an emergency clause, and I make a motion we accept.
Second.
Roll call.
Was that Danny?
Yes, ma'am.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Stephen, Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, before we move on, may I address something, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bushcliat.
Mr. Farrar, in our code, section 30.52, the city clerk treasurer, under B4, be authorized and empowered to perform the functions of magistrate during disability or absence of the mayor, as outlined and set forth. Would that apply to meetings?
I don't believe so, sir. I believe that's in the absence of having a duly elected or functioning mayor, that the statutory law provides that the clerk steps in. I'm looking presently at Arkansas Code 1443-501, section, B1A, which says in a mayor council form of government, that's not right. Sorry, I lost it. Section B2, in the absence of the mayor, the city council shall elect a president pro temp to preside over council meetings.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, roll call. I'm sorry, we did that, didn't we?
We've already done it.
Did you want to
I threw you a
add?
curveball, I'm sorry.
Did
Yeah,
you
he
want
just
to
had a
add?
question. He just had a
No,
question.
I've got nothing else.
Okay.
I just had a question about that one particular thing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mayor.
All right, no worries. I thought we had to redo it since there was something added. G, an approval of an ordinance to amend section 30.05 and 30.06 of the, if the Tontitown Municipal Code. Sorry, of the Tontitown Municipal Code. I was reading as is. Mr. Wagner.
Thank you. This sounds like a broken record, but at the July 7th Committee of the Whole, I presented a more detailed position regarding the proposed amendments to our public comment procedures. I do not intend to repeat the entire presentation tonight. However, because this matter is now before the council, I would like to briefly restate why I believe these changes represent a reasonable improvement to the way we conduct our meetings. The purpose of this proposal is not to eliminate public participation. Rather, it's to establish a more orderly, predictable, and manageable process for receiving public comments during city council meetings. Under the proposed procedure, oral public comments during the meeting will be directed to matters appearing on the published agenda for that particular meeting. This provides a logical connection between public participation and businesses actually before the council for consideration. Citizens would therefore have the opportunity to address the council regarding the agenda before us. While the council members may have the benefit of hearing comments as part of our consideration of those matters, at the same time, these proposals do not close the door to citizens who wish to raise concerns about matters that are not on the agenda. Those comments may still be submitted in writing to the city. This preserves an avenue for citizens to communicate concerns, suggestions, and other information to their elected officials without turning the public comment portion of every meeting into an unrestricted discussion of matters that the council is not prepared or scheduled to address. I also report physical attendance for oral public meetings rather than continued comments through Zoom or other remote technology. This is practical reason for this. Remote participation can be difficult to administer. Connections do fail. Audio quality varies. Speakers may have different being recognized or difficulty. And the technology itself can interfere with the orderly progress of the meeting. There's also a question of consistency. If members of the council themselves are generally expected to be physically present to participate in legislative busy, I see no compelling reason why we should maintain a separate remote participation policy solely for oral public comments. Citizens who cannot personally attend would still remain or retain the position to submit their comments. Taken together, I believe these amendments establish a cleaner and more regimented process. They allow public comments to focus on actual business appearing on the agenda, preserve a written avenue for other matters to be brought to the city's attention. This ultimately is about meeting management, consistency, and transparency. Everyone attending the meeting, council, city staff, public, should understand that business is before us when public comments concerning that business will be heard. As I stated previously on July 7th, I believe these changes will help make our meetings more orderly and efficient without eliminating public's ability to communicate. For those reasons, I support adoption of this amendment and make a motion that it do pass.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Hey, discussion? Anyone?
I do have a little bit of discussion if I can talk.
Yes, sir, Mr. Montez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the things that I looked at in this is that not only are we allowing citizen comment at each agenda item, but it looks like we're also eliminating the monthly reports. They're going to be given to us written rather than each department head coming before us and talking. I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts on that, and if they thought that was, I think that'll definitely speed up the meetings, but at the same time, that might be something that may be wanted to be put on the record at each meeting. And so that was something I kind of looked at.
Mayor, can I address?
So if it, when everybody speaks, if they have anything on that, I'd welcome a discussion on that.
Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Okay, and I consulted with the staff, and tonight you heard a lot of numbers. I dare say any of y'all are not capable of reading what was presented to you. And in fact, questions that were asked would be much better organized, and everybody could see in writing if those reports were provided to the council who could discuss. It doesn't eliminate the paper that is provided in the minutes. And therefore, I think it would be more productive than asking staff to come out here and spend another night away from their families to give us their reports, allow us to interact similar to what we're already doing with some weekly reports that some of the Mr. Clark and others provide. And I think no one could disagree with the fact that if a question's answered and replied to, everybody is seeing that. So as far as a matter of record, the public would still have the paper. It would be in the packet. So as far as the only thing that's being eliminated tonight was about 20 minutes of monotone. Here's what it was. Here's what it was last year. Here's what it'll be hopefully next year. It'll all be there. It'll be in the same document. But if we've got a particular question, why would there be an anomaly? For an example, in February of 2025 building, where you had almost 50% of your building for the entire year. Nobody seemed to ask that. I thought about doing it, but I thought, what the hell? Let's just put it in writing. And so that's how we got there. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Oh, roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We
Was
will,
We didn't
We didn't
read
have
that.
him read that
Oh.
ordinance.
We better redo that.
In point of order, I guess, is he supposed to read this section or is he supposed to read what's on the agenda? Okay, because for what I've been hearing, he's been reading just the agenda item. He hasn't
Right.
actually been reading the ordinance itself. Just a point of clarification, if Mr. Farrar, if you could actually read the ordinance, not what's on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point of clarification there. Thank you. Let me go ahead and read this one. This is an ordinance amending sections 30.05 and 30.06 of the Tontitown Municipal Code, revising the order of business for regular city council meetings, establishing written monthly reporting requirements, modifying public comment procedures, establishing procedures for agenda items and agenda amendments, providing for closing comments, and for other purposes.
thank you. Do we want to revote?
I think it would be prudent.
Okay, roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel, Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion passes again.
Okay, we'll move on to H, and approval of a resolution authorizing an RFQ for professional grant administration services. Would this be Mr. Wagner or Mr. Clark?
It would be Mr. Wagner because I'm the only legislator and we're the only ones approved to putting agenda items on, and I did so at Mr. Clark's request.
You may proceed, please.
I'm presenting the measures tonight in support of authorizing the city to advertise for RFQs for professional grant-related assistance associated with proposed sewer line extension intended to replace the North Barrington lift station. As this council is aware, the city's been awarded several $1 million in financial assistance towards the important infrastructure project as mentioned. The project contemplates the construction of a gravity sewer line extension that would ultimately replace the North Barrington Lift Station. An improvement has become particularly important in light of the planned expansion and enlargement of Highway 112 corridor. The measure before us tonight is a necessary procedural step in moving the project forward. The purpose is straightforward: to authorize the appropriate advertisement of RSQs so the city can proceed through a competitive qualification-based process to obtain professional grant assistance necessary. I believe the council should support this action for several reasons. First, we have an obligation to protect and properly utilize the significant financial assistance been made for the project. When outside funding is involved, particular funding measures in the millions of dollars, the city must ensure that it follows all applicable procurement grant administration requirements. Second, replacing a lift station with a gravity sewer system, where feasible, represents an opportunity to improve the long-term reliability and efficiency of our wastewater infrastructure. A gravity system can reduce dependence upon mechanical pumping. Third, the timing of this project is important as a corridor improvements. Major highway construction creates both challenges and opportunities. We should be proactive in coordinating our sewer improvements with a highway project rather than finding ourselves reacting later. Finally, approval of this measure does not by itself commit the city to an unchecked expenditure predetermined professional provider. Rather, it allows the city to advertise for qualified professional services and proceed with the required selection process. The council will then be in a better position to ensure the city's interest. For those reasons, I support this measure and respectfully ask my fellow council members to vote in favor, and I make a motion that this do pass.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I, approval of an ordinance vacation right of way for Pam Trucking, sponsored by Mr. Wagner. Tyler, if you wouldn't mind reading that, please.
Yes, ma'am. If you will give me just 2 seconds to get to the full title of that. All I have is the abbreviated in front of me.
I understood.
I don't want to not read enough words. I'm sorry, is this K?
No, sir, it's I.
Okay, apologize. Okay, here we go. An ordinance vacating a portion of the public right-of-way consisting of the entirety of the southwest First Street and a portion of West Weddington Avenue within the city of Tontitown, Arkansas, finding that the right-of-way is no longer needed for any present municipal purpose, providing for the retention of any necessary utility easements and for other purposes.
Mr. Wagner?
I did make this or sponsor this ordinance because Brad asked me to, and it's pretty simple. Over the years, Pam has acquired all surrounding lands of an L shape, which is shown in the packet but not on the screen, of 2 streets that are mentioned in the ordinance. Thereby, what is occurring now, because of the congestion at 412 Barrington intersection, people are cutting across through Pam's property and disturbing their operations. Seems only prudent that we would allow Pam to do that while we preserve our utility rights through there for water lines and such. It allows them to block the road as they see fit, develop on top of it, do whatever, as long as it doesn't impact our utility easement. Therefore, I make a motion that we pass this ordinance as presented.
I have a second.
I'll make a second, but I would also like to point out, Mr. Farrar, when you read off that title, you said West Weddington. It's West Washington Avenue. I just want to get that in the record that we're talking about the right street.
Thank you, sir. I was scrambling to find it. I appreciate the clarification.
Absolutely.
I just have a question, and perhaps Mr. Spurlock or the young lady can answer it.
Mr. Artemani.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Are PAM employees still going to use it? It's going to look like, because there's vehicles parked over there and they come out all the time. And so it's going to be like, well, why do they get to use it? I know it's an employee thing, but it's going to look a little bizarre, I believe.
What we'd eventually like to do is take out the asphalt, so nobody uses it.
Okay, that works for me. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Montez.
Mr. Spurlock, are there any utilities in the middle of the?
You will have, there's a 6-inch water line that goes through Washington on the south side, and there's a 2-inch, I believe, it goes across, if not mistaken, across on the top side of the First Street. And so what you see on your screen, not only did we do the vacation, but we also make sure they dedicated those roads as utility easements for the city of Tontitown because of those water lines.
Okay, so if they build on it, what's gonna happen to those? I mean, if they tear out the street and asphalt and they need to build some kind of structure there, another building of some sort, what happens to those utility lines that are already there?
They have to honor the easement.
Yeah, they have to honor the easement.
So they can't build on top of them?
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing none. Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, going on to J, an approval of a resolution accepting the final plat for Renly Ray Phase 2. Wagner.
Again, I sponsored this at the request of Mr. Spurlock. And at the last meeting, there was some discussion about maybe some deficiencies, which I am now told by Mr. Spurlock that those have been eliminated by being completed per se. And this allows the developer to move forward with this project in a final plat process. So that's about all you need to say, and I make a recommendation that it do pass.
I'll
There's a
second.
there is a second. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Tim,
No.
Larry.
No.
Motion still passes. 4-2.
Okay, moving on to K, an approval of an ordinance amending section 30.52 of the Tontitown Municipal Code, sponsored by Mr. Wagner.
Okay.
Mayor, I'm happy to read this one.
Oh, please do. I'm sorry. Excuse me,
Yeah,
Mr. Wagner.
no, you're fine. An ordinance amending section 30.52 of the Tontitown Municipal Code pertaining to the office of clerk treasurer, providing for office facilities, administrative support, staffing, professional accounting assistance, budgetary resources, and related matters, declaring legislative findings, and for other purposes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wagner.
Again, this was discussed in detail at the July 7th. I don't intend to repeat that presentation entirely. However, I do believe fundamental issues deserve clearly stated before the council considers this ordinance. The clerk treasurer is an independently elected municipal official entrusted with significant responsibilities involving the city's records, financial information, accounting functions, reporting, and preservation of documents belonging to the city and its citizens. If we expect an elected official to carry out those responsibilities, and I believe it's both reasonable and necessary that we provide an office with basic facilities required to do the job. That includes appropriate office space here at City Hall. The mayor, as the city's elected chief executive, appropriately has an office within City Hall which performs duties of that office. I believe the same practical consideration should be extended to the elected office of clerk treasurer, particularly given the responsibilities associated with municipal records and financial accountability. The ordinance does not create a new office. The office already exists. It does not create new statutory authority. Those responsibilities already exist. It does not diminish the authority of the mayor to transfer executive authority to the clerk treasurer. While it does what it does is recognize a simple principle of good government. When citizens elect an individual to perform an important municipal function, the city should provide that elected official with reasonable access to workspace, records, personnel systems, professional resources necessary to provide those duties. Providing designated office space within City Hall also strengthens accountability. It establishes a visible and accessible location for the office of clerk treasurer. Facilitates coordination with the city's bookkeeping and accounting functions. Provides an appropriate environment for the custody and review of municipal records and reinforces the independence and responsibilities of the elected office. For those reasons, I believe adoption of this ordinance represents a practical, responsible improvement in the city's government. I respectfully ask the council and would request a motion. I will make a motion to do pass.
Second.
All right, discussion on this? Seeing none? Well, I have something that I would like to say. We do have an office space available that has been being used. It's in the office where Mr. Penalto has his office, where all the records are. That's where Ms. Artemani sits whenever she signs the checks. So there is an office, there is a desk, separate, 2 desks, in the office for with Mr. Penalto. And I also would like to say that she could come in there and use that office at any time, but she does have a full-time job and works 8 to 5 from what I understand. And and we close at 4:30. So a full office would kind of be redundant.
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
This is not just for me. This is for future treasurers. And we need to get on board and function as a business as we should be.
Agreed.
The space that Pat has is very small, and you know that. And the treasurer, clerk treasurer, should have a desk, their own computer, access to everything that the rest of the staff has. And that is not a big enough office for that. I know that the police station is, but how long is that going to take? Because after that, then there's going to be plenty
of space,
of space for everybody.
Correct.
And even for us to grow as we should have been growing anyway.
Correct.
But this is just some things that we can work out. I mean, it's not anything difficult, I would not think. So,
Mayor, may I speak?
Yes, go.
If Ms. Artemani's through.
Yeah.
Observation. There's 2 offices that are large, actually 3. Brad and Mandy occupy one. One of the second largest offices is occupied by an administrative assistant, which I question why administrative assistant needs a bigger office than 2 people. And quite simply, I believe state law allows the legislative body to direct this, and I defer to Mr. Farrar, but I believe we have the responsibility or the authority to do that. I appreciate the mayor's comments, but my suggestion would be to allow Ms. Artemani and her direct report, Mr. Penalto, to reside in the office currently housing the administrative assistant, giving her adequate room for all of the filing cabinets and everything. It's not a major move to move Pat's filing cabinets or the city's filing cabinets, I should say. 50 feet? I don't know how far, but it seems logical and prudent. And if that's Miss Artemani's desire, then I would back that 100%, and I would encourage the council to consider what I've just said.
May I speak?
Yes, sir.
Whether it's Mrs. Artemani's desire or not, I think is beyond the point. I do appreciate your words, and you are 100% correct. It isn't about what you want. It's about what's good and proper. This is an elected position. I know that the mayor had some concern about this. She actually took me down the hall before the meeting at my request to show me where that desk was. It's a small desk. It's pushed up against a wall in a small office. This is an elected position, and whether she's here from 8 to 5 or she's here from 6 to 7, whatever that happens to be, I do believe that it's important and it's proper that that role have its own space. So I understand where you're coming from, but I also believe that it's extraordinarily important. I do have a question for Mrs. Artemani. Do you have a city-issued computer or laptop that you're able to use?
I borrow the planning's laptop
Okay.
on occasion. And I have a city cell phone
Okay.
that I just use for strictly emails.
Then I think perhaps we ought to add to this that she has her own computer, whether it be stationary or portable, but I do believe it's important that she has her own workstation.
I think the wording is broad enough that it includes equipment, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
And with the laptop, I do not have access to the city server or anything.
Okay.
So
That's certainly problematic.
I don't have that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spurlock?
May I speak?
Yes, I will allow it.
Thank you. I will let you guys know, we did purchase a laptop for Ms. Artemani. It's been about 6 months ago when she took over the role of answering FOIA request. You do utilize it in the planning department, and Madeline uses it quite a bit. It does have access outside of the normal range to access the server. So it is all set up to do that. So she does have that at her disposal. At this time, Madeline has been using it for some, when she's not here or something. So we do have one for Ms. Artemani.
And it's the same one that Ms. Parker uses?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that whether or not Ms. Parker needs that. I don't know. I'd be willing to talk about that if she does. I think it's probably proper that Ms. Parker has that laptop and that we get a separate laptop. And I know that that's not up to
No,
you,
initially it was bought for Ms. Artemani.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you shedding light on that for us.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could.
Oh, Mr. Montez, I'm sorry. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Spurlock, before you run too far away from the mic, I understand you're the go-to for IT services and on that.
I try to help.
Okay. And Madam Mayor, if I'm wrong, yeah, please let me know. I heard Ms. Artemani down there say that she doesn't have access to the server based off this laptop. But you're saying there is?
There is.
Okay.
From my home, I cannot go
Correct.
on.
So that's what
So-
I'm kind of thinking. I don't know how it works, so I want to ask whoever's over IT.
Yeah.
If she were to have a desktop that was here that would be able to get to the server, I'm assuming Ms. Artemani, it sounds like she may want access from her home. Would she be able to remote into that
Yes.
desktop here to that
Well,
laptop?
here, let me make a correction on this. The laptop does have access that you can log on to the server from a house. So once you're at the house, if you have internet connection, you should be able to log on to the server.
Okay.
And if you have a desktop here, what we'd have to do is just remote in, and they would have to map to the server here. And
Okay.
so she would have access. But the laptop does have capabilities to log on to the server if
Okay.
you're at the house.
Okay.
So-
So from the discussion that's come from tonight, it sounds like maybe a desktop needs to be established and created a desktop.
Correct.
And then if we've got, a deputy clerk treasurer and a clerk treasurer that both need a laptop, I think we ought to spend the funds here to
Yep.
facilitate those needs and give this department what they need in order
Correct.
to do their
Whatever you guys
jobs.
need to do, we'll get it fixed.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spurlock.
May I?
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because we've gone over in the past, the state statutes that show us how important this role is. So whatever we need. And just one other comment, I hope we can work out this office situation without having to take legislative action as a council. Please, I'm begging you, please figure that out so we don't have to take legislative action.
Anyone? Anyone? Okay, we had a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we'll move on to L, a discussion and approval of a resolution to remove the tunnel from the 412 Barrington project. Mr. Wagner.
Okay, this ordinance is, our resolution, I should say, is to formally establish the council's position that proposed pedestrian and bicycle tunnel should be removed from the US 412 and Barrington Road intersection improvement project. I want to emphasize at the outset of this resolution, it's not an effort to stop or diminish the importance of the 412 Barrington intersection improvements. The intersection project remains important to the city. The question before is narrower, whether the underground tunnel should remain part of that project. The resolution before us clearly separates these two issues. It supports moving forward with the intersection improvement while formally opposing the tunnel and requesting RDOT, Northwest Regional Planning, and associated project professionals remove the tunnel from the project's design and plans. As we've continued to review this project, I have been unable to identify meaningful public or stakeholder support for the construction of a tunnel. At the same time, concerns have been raised regarding cost, long-term maintenance, safety, property impacts, and overall usefulness. The resolution appropriately recognizes that those anticipated burdens outweigh the project's utility for an underground crossing, and that the municipal resources may better be directed toward surface level pedestrian infrastructure or other transportation priorities. The project impacts have also been a significant consideration. The owner and representatives associated with PAM Industries raised substantial concerns regarding earlier plans and the effect the project would have on their property. The most recent correspondence I've received indicates that the following revisions, the revised plans now appear to align with a design that the affected property interests can support moving forward. I believe y'all are copied on the email earlier today saying as such. In my view, moving the tunnel helps us move forward in a more workable project rather than continuing to advance an element that has created additional complications. There's also an environmental and regulatory consideration. The tunnel component has presented an additional issue associated with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Reviewing concerns regarding potentially sensitive habitat in the project, including possible cavefish habitat. Removing the tunnel eliminates a significant component, giving rise to the concern and allows the city to focus more directly on the primary purpose of this project, safety, capacity, and functionality of 412 Barrington intersection. Finally, I believe it's important that this decision be made transparently and by the appropriate governing body. The correspondence leading to tonight's action reflects the position that a formal legislative action was the appropriate mechanism for changing the project scope. Our city attorney subsequently reviewed the draft resolution, expressly approved it to its legal form and substance. Subject to his sections, his suggested revision and clarification, the city's community development director likewise reported discussions that are dark and regional planning regarding the process of removing the tunnel. For those reasons, I believe the prudent course is to formally remove the tunnel from the project, reduce property and environmental concerns, and allow our efforts to remain focused. I therefore respectfully ask the council to approve this resolution and formally direct the pedestrian bicycle tunnel be removed. And I suggest they do pass, and pray for a second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion?
May I, Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Washkowiak.
Mr. Wagner, thank you for all that. And I think there's one thing maybe might have overlooked just a little bit, that the opposition that we were getting from the property owner, which was not the city, it was PAM, and the potential for another litigation fight had we decided to pursue this tunnel option was a very distinct possibility, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
that
it was
right?
promised.
So, in lieu of that, and with the, I'm blanking out on the word I'm looking for, with the approval of Mr. Crawford, I think it's Mr. Crawford, Jason,
Yes.
from, Pam Real Estate Corporate, with the latest submitted plans that remove the tunnel and go with the expansion, I can certainly get on board with this.
Anyone else?
May I?
Oh, yes, Mr. Burris.
Yeah, I found it a little surprising, I think I made an assumption early on that I shouldn't have, and it was that the neighbors that it impacted the most were looped in. They were not. I'm embarrassed to admit that I didn't notice that, and just took that to be understood. I think to make plans on somebody's property without asking them is silly, and illegal, most likely. So I think moving forward on this is truly the only appropriate course of action, despite the fact that some people may or may not want the tunnel. I do appreciate you bringing up the blind cavefish and other species that are endangered. And I think that's one more reason to not try to fight with Fish and Wildlife or anybody else. We don't need more fights in Tontitown. I think we need less of them. With that said, I do support this particular resolution. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to speak myself. We did have meetings with Pam Transportation locally. They did not, they told us that they were going to speak to their higher ups, and apparently they did not. Mark Latham and myself had 2 meetings with them.
Do you know who you spoke to and when that was?
Absolutely. And the lady I believe that was here earlier was in the meeting.
Do you remember her name?
May I speak now, Mayor?
Yes.
The lady's name is Rebecca Clintz.
Yes.
The other side of that story is many questions come out of those meetings regarding a pat answer. We'll get back to you when the engineer tells us what to do. So there's 2 sides to every story. Again, it illustrates the importance of a standing committee where there would be somebody or a group of people, a consortium of stakeholders, engineers and otherwise, and perhaps there's not these misunderstandings. He said, they said, and you said. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Montes.
Yep, thank you, Madam Mayor. And, Mr. Wagner, thanks for bringing this position before us. I understand it's going to be a little more cost effective to do this method and bring that pretty much as a crosswalk at this point and eliminate the tunnel. And I think I had some discussion back then when we talked about, do we do a tunnel, do we do a catwalk over it, and how they would how that would all kind of come about. And we've had a bunch of public meetings here. They gave us 3 different options of how this tunnel could skin out. I just hope that we're doing the right thing. I think for now we are. I think going to a crosswalk, I think, is probably the most practical and cost-effective thing for the city right now. But the second that this bike path gets bigger and more people go on the bike path, I think we ought to look at something that goes across the street of 412, a little more safer for bicyclists and such. But I think we're not at that point right now to spend, what is it, 17 million this project. So thanks for bringing this to us. Wish that communication would have been a little bit better with neighbors, and whether they feel that they were not informed enough or that we jumped the gun. Obviously, we were a little serious about it and pursuing it. So they spoke up, and we're here where we're at now. So I think we're going in the right direction by eliminating it. But
Mayor,
I think we've got a time where we're going to have to look at this as this bike trail gets more popular. Look at Bentonville, look at the bike paths up there, look at Fayetteville. It's going to eventually all connect, and you're going to have bicyclists from there to here coming through. And the second somebody gets hit on that street, we're going to really hate that news.
Mayor, may I have my second
Yes.
bite at the apple? To Mr. Montez's point, I did also talk to Arkansas, our Northwest Regional Planning. They are developing bike trail GIS map. There's an improvement process on 112. And if you look from Don Tyson Highway, there's a bike trail proposed. That would be an ideal place because that would be state money, not Tontitown's money, which as the proposed tunnel would be probably close to a cool $1 million. We got a place or two that we could spend $1 million on streets. So I think your point is well taken that there's a lot of bikers, but I think they probably are going to be able, with the backers they have on bikes, to follow along. As a matter of fact, there's a dedicated use for a bike trail to run parallel to 412. Yep. The rollout of the map I speak to you, I've looked at. It'll be available later this summer. I provided to Mr. Spurlock, and Luke, I can't think of his last name, is the trail guru for regional planning, is all anxious to come out and do a show and tell.
Hey, anyone else? Roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Okay,
Motion
we have
passes.
finally got to public comments. If anyone would like to speak, come up to the microphone and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. It's Wendy Howerton, and my address is 3739 North Steel Boulevard in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I am happy to be here just to address the council and everyone else out there and let you know that I am running for your circuit judge here in Washington and Madison County. I was on that ballot in March, and now I'm in a runoff, and hallelujah, I was 330 votes in the lead. So I hope to maintain that going into this election in November. But get out there, meet your candidates. I'm here. I'm happy to answer questions or anything like that. Been practicing here for almost 22 years now in Northwest Arkansas, and I've handled every type of case that this bench will cover, which is pretty important. And I'm the only candidate who's ever had a civil jury trial, which I think is vitally important because it is a civil jury trial bench. I am running for John Threet's position. I am not running against John Threet. Everybody sort of gets worked up when they hear that. He is retiring. So we will unfortunately say bye to John for that purpose, but he will still be handling the political animals, and you will still get a dose of his comedy from time to time. So, but good to see everyone. Good to meet you if I haven't met you, and you will see me out there. Once again, I love your vote, but either way, get out there and vote. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Or see you again. I think I met you once. Anyone else?
Good evening. Mark Calcagni, 12642 Arbor Acres Road. 2 mayors ago, I was appointed the air quality chairman. Thanks for allowing the public comment, and it's very important to the citizens. I'm here to comment on the unfiltered leachate that flows into the Tontitown lift station that many of us and many of my neighbors have complained about. The 2020 leachate test that showed the chemical oxygen demand, COD, was measured at 2,278 milligrams per liter, 10 times the standard amount that a wastewater plant should take, NACA, should receive. And then it should only receive 200 to 250 milligrams from an industrial site. The biochemical oxygen demand was 845 milligrams per liter, or 4 times the 200 to 300 milligrams standard. These excessive amounts is what kills aquatic life. Waste Management has known this for 6 years and done nothing. And they talk about litigation. Litigation and this situation are 2 different things. This should have been done, and I know everybody has talked about that. The unfiltered leachate needs to be tanker trucked out instead of going through the lift station. They were talking about it was only going to, this lift station, this treatment facility wouldn't be done until 2029, 3 years from now. There are several hazmat tanker truckers that do this type of work. The remedy should be taken by Waste Management to do this. I've learned a lot about, landfills, which it's sickening that I've had to do this. But, I feel like Waste Management feels like this is Mayberry RFD here and treats this city like that. That's a shame. And I've been coming here since 2018. Tontitown has this, what other Tontitown businesses has issues like this, such as 4 air tests that have shown benzene and acrolein carcinogens by the Arkansas National Guard and ADQ, as well as a local well water test that showed PFAS, or forever chemicals, multiple fires, highway road deterioration, and a red dye test that ended up in Little Wildcat Creek that flows into the Illinois River. And I would think PFAS is much better than chicken litter. It's not worse. Remember, this body of government represents the citizens, and the citizens expect health and safety first, which most agree that they do get health and safety from our police and fire protection. Again, you represent the citizens, and don't forget about the 1,400 signed petitions, mostly Tontitown citizens, against the landfill expansion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calcagney. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll catch you.
Good evening. I'm Kristen Pollock, and I'm a candidate for Circuit Judge Division 2, and I'm in the runoff that is scheduled for November 3rd. I'm a lifelong resident of Northwest Arkansas. This community means everything to me, and I'm running for this position out of a love for public service and a belief that we need judges who have good temperament, good judgment, and an ethical character. And so that's why I put my name on the ballot. I send my kiddos to school right across the street at Ozark Catholic Academy, and they attend Mass there, and I attend Mass there as well on occasion. I believe really strongly that your community is growing and is obviously a strong, energizing force in Northwest Arkansas. Thank you, each of you, for your service. I can tell just by watching this meeting tonight that the issues are not always easy for y'all, that you each have your own opinions and that you bring them to the table. And I've listened to you, and I appreciate your careful deliberation on the matters. I'll bring that kind of deliberation to the bench. So please learn about me. I have some cards, and I'll leave them with you afterwards. Thank you to the citizens of Tontitown who may be watching.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Oh, Maddie, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ms. Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. Regarding the lift station and the request for an extension, I had other things I wanted to speak on, but then I found this in the packet tonight. Have you seen this? Have you read it? Because the majority of the questions that you asked the gentleman were covered in this letter. They identify many elements that they would like to address. You can take these elements and put them in an Excel spreadsheet, put a date line, and you can go back and forth with an electronic, you can just email back and forth. You can hold their feet to the fire. You can take what they have identified as issues as they perceive them to be, have them give you detail, then you impose a deadline. Ask the hard questions. It is not Waste Management kicking the can down the road. They also talk about shipping it out, and that's, I guess they did that at one time, but my concern with that is, okay, so fine. With the traffic and with the roads, what if a truck turns over? What if the truck turns over on Wildcat Creek? Wildcat Creek is a tributary to the Illinois River, which is part of the water supply to Tahlequah. Who's going to clean that up? And what's that going to look like? Now, I contend that Tontitown proceeded with an expensive and ultimately failed mission to have Waste Management completely shut down, replete with TV and news media campaign, which was calculated to portray Tontitown as David and Waste Management as Goliath. I contend that by cooperating with Waste Management, working to decrease the odors would have been counterproductive to the goal and the glamour of defeating Goliath. I contend that Tontitown sacrificed its residents in pursuit of its own self-serving agenda. So no more carbon chicken. Okay, we went through that. You allowed experimentation on us. It was a failure. You need to educate yourself on that, sir. And no more meetings with Waste Management that are engineered to fail. And I agree with these subcommittees, and I would like to be on one because I am a citizen who has suffered from incompetence. Okay, 2022, it just dropped, is that right? 2022, all activities appeared to have come to a halt. Waste Management has 250 landfills, annual net income of $2.5 to $3 billion with a market value of $90 to $100 billion. They have the ability. My question is, do you have the spine? And Nina, I don't know how many times Nina showed up begging for you to do something. She has a really interesting video being taken to the hospital. Done.
Okay, is there anyone else? Maddie, there's someone online, you said? Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. I'd like to take up part of this issue that they're talking about. I'm not a citizen. I am a citizen of Washington County. Just because the line for Tontitown stops 0.2 of a mile before the door that I used to live at.
Excuse me, Mr. Lovett, could you?
Yes, ma'am.
Your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Kenneth Lovett, and I part-time reside on Highway 71 over there in Springdale. And the rest of the time I live out here in Prairie Grove. So does anybody else need any information on how to get to my doorstep if you want to come see me?
I'm sorry, point of order, if we can't have respectable comments, I'd rather not have.
If we can't have respectable comments, we wouldn't have you talking, Tim.
Mr. Lovett, please.
Point of order, Mayor.
Mr. Lovett.
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Stick
Okay,
to
may I continue?
According to the rules, when there's a point of order, the council is supposed to vote on that particular point of order, Madam
Well,
Mayor.
go ahead and vote, friend. Let's hear it. It just shows how great that's going to work out. Let's see.
Mr. Lovett, just one moment.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, if the gentleman who doesn't live in town could stop talking long enough for us to vote, I'd appreciate that.
I will sure do that. Go
I
right
would like to
ahead.
vote whether or not we allow him to continue with this particular line.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mike,
Provided he can stay on topic, I'm okay with him continuing.
Daniel,
No.
Mick,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel. Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen.
Abstain.
Okay, we have 4 passes. You can continue.
Mr. Lovett,
Okay.
you can continue, please.
Thank you very much. They have experts that can bring a flatbed trailer in here tomorrow and set up on Waste Management and clean their tank out. They don't have to have engineers doing all this stuff. They don't have to be spending money. All they got to do is call the right people to come in here and do it, and it'd be fixed tomorrow. I don't understand why people point fingers at Tontitown when James Vernon stood up and said, as long as there's litigation against us, we won't deal with you. And if Waste Management was not legally prohibited from continuing pretreatment work during the litigation, why should the city now grant additional time for a delay that may have been resulted from Waste Management to this decision? And I realize you've already done that, but you're not taking care of your people, in my opinion. And then what specifically caused the 2021-22 pretreatment program to stop? And can you provide documentation supporting that and an explanation? I think we should get that. Waste Management. But I am a citizen, and just because the fence line or the line for the city stops before it gets to my house, there's other people that live out there too. and they are continually being contaminated and killed, and however you want to approach that, by lack of proper operation and regulation by the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. It's frustrating, I'm telling you. So when the concerns for what is it, cave fish habitat takes precedence over the concerns for the citizens that are dying and breathing and pneumonia, and now we have people calling in and saying, oh, I'm attacked, I'm done all this stuff. It ain't all ammonia, friend. It's all kinds of stuff. It's acrolein, benzene. Y'all want to point fingers. We have the best mayor Tontitown's ever had sitting there in front of you right now. And everybody sitting there has fought against her at one point or another. If you'll look at the agenda, there is one person's name that keeps popping up over and over again. Just, in my opinion, to bully you to continue doing what you're doing, bowing at his feet. You put Brad Spurlock in place to order a system that would work. It sounded like a zoo tonight, people jumping up and down, hollering back and forth. There are systems where you punch a button, a light comes on, and the mayor calls on you to speak. You don't sit there like an idiot and not operate the way you're supposed to operate. And it's frustrating to me to see every time I speak, somebody's going to sit up and say, he's not a citizen. I'm a citizen of US. I'm a citizen of Washington County. I've sat there on my front porch and woke up at night, can't breathe, got to get up, mowing the yard, had to go in the house because I couldn't mow the yard, riding on a mower, couldn't breathe. You people are not doing your jobs. I don't care how much you don't like me. I don't care how much you do like me. I don't care nothing about what Tontitown thinks about my opinion. You're killing people. And until you figure out how to make this stuff work, it's on your back. And it's going to be you. Because I heard one of you sit there coughing for a month before you figured out what's going on. Thank you.
Mr. Lovett, your time is up, sir. All right, we'll move on to comments from Alderman. Mr. Wishkowiak?
Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us for a long meeting. I noticed both of you were affiliated, Ms. Howard, with St. Joseph in Fayetteville. I taught down there many moons ago, Ms. Pollock, with the Ozark Catholic. Glad to have you all out here. Thanks for coming. I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Mr. Burris?
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Mr. Graves to the council. Thank you so much for stepping up. I know that you're going to be a great fit. I'm thankful that you're here. It was an interesting night. I'm not entirely certain that Robert's Rules of Order were followed appropriately, but oh well. I think we're all doing the best that we can. Appreciate the judge candidates for coming out, letting us hear from you. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate the public comments. Thank you to our police, planning, water, sewer, and Godspeed. Wish you well, Mr. Latham. Hope we get to see you back here soon.
Well, as usual, I want to thank our staff from top to bottom again. We got a great staff overall. And I want to thank you, young ladies, for coming out and tolerating this for this amount of time. And thank you for your input. And congratulations or condolences, whichever way you want to take this, Mr. Graves. So with that, have a good evening.
Mr. Montez?
I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Thank you specifically to Miss Tammy Graham, Mr. Calcagney, Nina Brown back there. I want to apologize on behalf of the city that 2022 felt like it did, and we're here where we're at now. And I thank you for speaking up and not giving up and having that resilience and coming to us with a manner of, I don't know if I'd call it professionalism, but that's the best word I can come up with now is coming before us and, sticking to it. And with that, again, yeah, congratulations, Mr. Gray.
Professionalism goes both ways.
Glad to have you up here and hope to hear from your perspective on things as we come along and go forward. Thank you.
I appreciate your confidence, and I wish I would have waited a week. Thank you.
Mr. Wagner.
First of all, I want to address the two ladies that are running for judgeship. You've heard a pretty lively discussion tonight, and I really hope like hell I don't see either one of y'all regarding Tontitown and waste management in the courts. We've done been to Mr. Treat. He treated us fairly, but litigation is something that's a last call. And I think we have not used common sense and civility to try to conduct professional business contact, and I hope that changes in the future. If I've got anything to do with it, it will. And again, I appreciate both of y'all for throwing your name in the hat to go sit on the bench. Thank you.
Okay, mayor's comments. Congratulations, Mr. Graves. Your mother taught my son. So, Colin Tyson. I would like to address the questions regarding the administrative assistant's attendance at the International Institute of Multiple Clerks annual conference in Reno. This discussion is not about one employee or one conference. It was about whether the city will follow its own policies, respect the administrative authority established by law, and continue investigating in professional development of its employees. First, the city's personal handbook is clear. Section 4.9 states, the city of Tontitown is committed to a continuing training for all employees, and that attendance at seminars and training programs must be pre-approved by the employee's department head and or the mayor. That is exactly what occurred. The conference was requested in advance, reviewed, approved by me, and as employees supervisor, and fully complied with the city personnel handbook. Second, this expense was paid from the administration meetings, training, and travel budget that the city council approved. The registration fee was covered through a scholarship. It was covered through a scholarship. They are going to reimburse us for part of the money, which is reducing the city's costs by approximately $700. The remaining expense totaling $2,008.93 were within the adopted budget and were an appropriate administrative expenditure for their extended purpose. Third, I have heard questions regarding conferences relevance. I would simply refer everyone to the administrative assistant's job description, the conference curriculum, and the letters submitted by the Assistant Director of Education at the Arkansas Municipal League. The immediate past president and current president of ACCRTA and members of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. After reviewing her job description, they all affirmed that this education and certification pathway is directly relevant to her position and strongly supported for her continued professional development. The ACCRTA president specifically stated that the IIMC conference provides education directly related to municipal administration and the knowledge gained improved municipal operations, compliance, transparency, and efficiency service to our citizens. This was not a motivational conference. It was a professional educational specifically designated for municipal clerks and municipal administrative professionals. She had to take tests at the end of this meetings, and she had to get certified. Just wanted to let you know that. Finally, I want to address an important point that has already been recognized by this council. Councilmember Tim Burris previously wrote to the administrative assistant, City Council is the legislative branch. You are not accountable for us for professional development. Instead, the mayor acts as the daily full-time administrative director who can approve your professional choices. I agree completely with his email, and I thank you for sending it. The statement, because it accurately reflects the respective roles. Council establishes policy and appropriates funds. The mayor administers city operations and supervises employees, including approving training that complies with the city policy and the adopted budget. If council wishes to amend the personal handbook or establish different training requirements going forward, that is certainly within your legislative authority. However, administrative decisions made in accordance with the existing policy, approved budgets, and established supervisory authority should be respected. I would also note that this level of scrutiny has not been applied to other departments' trainings and conferences attendance. If council wishes to establish new standards, those standards should apply uniformly across the departments, not a single employee or a single conference. I remain confident that approving this conference was consistent with city policy within the budget approved by the council and directly related to the employees' assigned duties and responsibilities of investment in the city's operations. This conference is through the municipal league. It was approved through the municipal league. And I actually spoke with the lady at one of my conferences. I didn't even know she was over this. And she was sitting by herself at a table, and I felt bad. There were several people at my table. So I went and invited her to come and sit at my table. She ended up being the president. And she's the one that recommended, she said, this would be great for any of your employees to attend. So with that, I want to say thank you. I will give all of you the information. Thank you for sending the email. I appreciate it. And you guys have a great evening. Mr. Farrar, do you have comments?
Just want to thank you all real quick, Mayor and City Council. I apologize for having to be on Zoom tonight. There are only about 2 weeks a year I get to see my young nieces, Scarlett and Magnolia, and this is one of those weeks. I appreciate your patience with me while I participated remotely. This should be the last time I do it this year. So you all have a great night.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye. I didn't hear aye from everybody.